God our Father, we are all your servants. We trust in your mercy and love. We trust also in your guidance. Direct the meetings of this council of North College Hill to make good decisions for all the people who live in our city. Give all the members of this council wisdom and insight to know what is best for our city. Help us to be fair and just in all our decisions. Bless us all to be the very best we can with your help and guidance. We pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Roll call.
Ms. Zorb,
Here.
Ms. Gaston,
Here.
Miss Alexander,
Here.
Miss Keratin,
Here.
Miss Clear,
Here.
Mr. Davis, Miss Chichester.
Present.
I have checked my my laptop. I am not seeing anything in my email from Mr. Davis. Has anyone else heard from him tonight?
No. I have not. Not check.
Okay. Everybody should have the agenda ahead in front of you. Has everybody had a chance to look at it?
Madam President,
Ms. Clear.
I would like to amend the agenda. We have a Business of the Month presentation, and I believe that should come before executive session. So I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to
Madam
put the
President.
business, guest speaker Business of the Month presentation to prior to the executive session.
Madam President,
Ms. Clear. Ms. Clear. Ms. Gaston.
I second.
So I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Clear and a second from Ms. Gaston to amend the agenda to add as a guest speaker tonight. What was the group called, Ms. Clear?
It's on the agenda, the Business of the Month
Of the
presentation.
month presentation.
It's already on here.
It's already on the agenda?
To move it to be
Sure, it's
prior
gonna be-
to executive session.
So we're going to move it to prior to executive session. So to restate, it's already on the agenda. We're just going to move the guest speaker portion of the evening to prior to executive session. Roll call.
Madam President, discussion.
Discussion? Go ahead.
I wasn't involved in either one of those items, so I'm wondering if the person who asked for the executive session intentionally wanted it to be that early in the agenda.
Madam President,
Ms. Curitan.
I called the executive session and I'm fine. In fact, I would like to move it to after guest speaker, please.
Okay.
So I rescind my
So we are-
motion.
Because that made it what it is.
Sorry.
Okay. Can we start over?
Sure.
Okay. Rescinded. Ms. Curitan, you want to make a motion to move executive session to after the guest speaker portion of the evening?
That is correct, Madam President.
Okay. Okay. Do I have a second?
Madam President,
Ms. Alexander? Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Clear?
Ms. Curitan,
Yes.
it's okay. I understand. Madam President, actually, I want to keep it where Ms. Clear mentioned it. So let's keep it right after our guest speaker, please. So just to clarify, we're going to have the agenda, the comment communication, public comments, guest speakers, business of the month, and then the executive session.
Right, I was clear about that. Okay, so we're moving, like I said before, we're moving executive session to after the guest speaker portion of the evening. I had a motion on the floor from Ms. Curitan, and I had a second on the floor from Ms. Alexander.
correct.
Okay,
I second.
okay, cool. Any further questions regarding this movement? Okay, roll call.
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston.
Yes.
Ms. Alexander.
Yes.
Ms. Curitan.
Yes.
Ms. Clear.
Yes.
Ms. Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Okay.
Madam
So now
President.
We need to pass the agenda as amended.
Madam President.
Ms. Gaston?
I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda.
Thank you.
And that amendment would be to add, I don't know the resolution number just yet, it's blank, but a resolution establishing a policy for the placement of community little free pantry boxes on property owned by the city of North College Hill.
Madam President,
Ms. Chichester?
I second that motion.
I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Chichester to add legislation tonight, resolution, and I am presuming this is going to be Resolution 14-2026
I believe so,
to the agenda tonight.
for its first reading.
Yeah, for its first reading. Do we have any discussion?
Madam President,
Ms. Clear?
but I do want to propose several amendments to this.
Sure.
First of which, the date, time, and location are not listed on the minutes. That needs to be added.
Okay.
Second, the first bullet point says Rule 7.6. I believe that should be 7.12.
Okay.
And the third being the rule where it says on page 2, 7.12. I believe that should be 7.6. And that's all the amendments that I propose.
Okay.
Madam President, I'll second that.
Okay. So I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Clear and a second from Ms. Zorb to amend the minutes from 5/29/26 to add the date, time, and location to, on the first page, change the location to be 7.12, 7-12, and on page 2, changing, when I'm saying location, I'm meaning section. On page 2, changing the section to 7.7-6. Roll call?
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston.
Yes.
Ms. Alexander.
Yes.
Ms. Curitan.
Yes.
Ms. Clear.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Ms. Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
One
Madam
second,
President?
just a moment, just to have a piece of order here. I'm not sure Mr. Davis being able to vote as he's not been, excused
Okay.
yet.
I can,
So-
I'll agree with myself.
Can we redo the vote, please?
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston.
Yes.
Miss Alexander.
Yes.
Ms. Curitan.
Yes.
Ms. Clear.
Yes.
Ms. Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Madam President,
I'm sorry. Did I hear Madam President? Ms. Chichester?
yes. I make a motion that we excuse Mr. Davis and accept him into our meeting today.
Do I have a second?
Madam President, I'll second.
I have a motion for Ms. Chichester. Can we start over with me
Worcestershire.
talking? Sorry.
Worcestershire sauce.
There's a motion on the floor for Ms. Chichester and a second from Ms. Zorb to excuse Mr. Davis's lateness and accept him into the meeting. Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston,
Yes.
Miss Alexander,
Yes.
Miss Curitan,
Yes.
Miss Clear,
Yes.
Miss Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Okay. Now okay, so the minutes, back to the minutes. Does anyone else have any amendments for 5/29/26 minutes?
No, I thought we were done.
Do I have a motion to accept as amended?
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I would like to accept the minutes on 5/29 as amended.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Madam President,
Ms. Zorb?
I'll second.
I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Zorb to accept the minutes from 5/29/26 as amended. Roll call? Well,
Chair.
wait, any discussion?
Madam President,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I
I don't have any minutes in my packet from 5/29.
These were actually, I apologize, these should have been in your packet from last month, and we had tabled these minutes until this month because council wanted to take another month to review. So they should have been in your, from last month. This is from the special meeting that we called, the committee of the whole meeting.
Okay.
So, okay. Roll call?
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston,
Yes.
Miss Alexander,
Yes.
Miss Keratin,
Yes.
Miss Clear,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Miss Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay. All right, has everybody had a chance to look at 6-1's minutes? Do we have any emotions or feelings about these minutes?
Madam President,
Ms. Chichester?
I make a motion, we accept the minutes for June 1st, 2026.
Do I have a second?
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I will second her motion.
So I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Chichester and a second from Ms. Gaston to accept the minutes from 6/1/2026. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Miss Gaston,
Yes.
Miss Alexander,
Yes.
Miss Keratin,
Abstain.
Miss Clear,
Abstain, I was not present.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Miss Chichester.
Yes.
Motion pass 5-2.
And lastly, does everybody have the chance to look at the minutes from 7/6/2026?
Madam President,
Ms. Clear?
I would like to amend the minutes from July 6th, 2026.
Okay.
Under page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe, under council committees, it indicates Councilmember Chichester reported, but she was not at the meeting. I reported on the Rules and Public Policy Committee update because she was not yet at the meeting at that point in the meeting.
Okay, so the report was from Ms. Clear, not from Ms. Chichester?
Correct.
Okay.
For the Rules and Public Policy.
Okay. Any other corrections? That's what we're talking about. Do I have a motion?
Madam President,
Ms. Clear, Ms. Gaston, were you about to make a motion?
I was going to make a motion to accept the minutes as presented. As amended, I'm sorry.
Do I have a second?
Madam President,
Ms. Clear?
I'll second.
I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Clear to amend the rules on page 5 to change from Latanya Chichester to Annalise Clear, who did the reporting for the Rules and Public Policy. Roll call?
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Miss Gaston,
Yes.
Miss Alexander,
Yes.
Miss Keratin,
Yes.
Miss Clear,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Miss Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay. Ms. Clear, do we have any communications?
Was that to amend or to accept? Was that a motion to amend the minutes, or was that a motion to accept the minutes?
Fair point. It was a motion to
Amend.
amend the minutes. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I would like to make a motion to accept the amended minutes.
Do I have a second?
Madam President,
Ms. Orb?
I'll second.
I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Zorb to accept the minutes from 7/6/2026 as amended. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Miss Gaston,
Yes.
Miss Alexander,
Yes.
Miss Keratin,
Yes.
Miss Clear,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Miss Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay. Ms. Clear, do we have any communications?
I do not have any communications this evening.
Has anyone signed in for public comment?
Yes, we have 2 people signed in. The first one is John Smith.
Ms. Mr. Smith, if you'd like to stand up and join us at the podium. And you'll have 3 minutes, and just if you wouldn't mind restating your name and your address, that'd be great.
Okay.
Madam President,
My name is John
But hold on
Stitt.
1 second.
I just wanted to direct counsel, there's a piece of paper that he's probably going to talk about. It's the Pro Lab. I just received this from him today. He printed it out for you all, so I just distributed it with my administrator's report. So it's the back page. It's paper clipped, and it looks like this.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, Mr. Smith.
All right. And I'm the Junior Vice Commander of the DAV 115. And I've emailed you all a copy of the report. Chris Green performed a report on the mold test on the east wing, and you have the results. He tested the outside of the building for a baseline and then did the inside 6 areas, and all of which had one type of mold on the inside. There were seven types of mold on the outside if you look at the report. The first 2 pages show the best, give you all the information, and then the back just compares. The back graphs just compare it. And the quantity of mold is low and it's not harmful, according to the report. That's all I got. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
just for clarity, I have 2 questions. Question number 1 was it the entire east wing, or was it
The
just
back.
the entire back of the east
Back,
wing?
or it was
Those 6 rooms were
6 rooms in the back.
perfect. My second question was the AC running when the air test was conducted?
No, you don't had it. So I'm not sure how the AC works. I haven't looked at the system.
Okay, so we are still needing to see what the mode looks like for the rest of the east wing and the west wing, and when the AC is turned on?
AC, yeah, you're going to get a little storage, but you want it settled when you test it. It's supposed to be ambient.
Okay,
to
thank
get
you
your
so
thing.
much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President.
Madam President.
Ms. Zorb?
Mr. Stith, may I ask you another question? Sorry. Tried to catch you before you walked away. So, is it safe to presume that this testing was done after you guys cleaned it too, right? Okay. Thank you.
Yes, it was done 2 weeks ago.
All right, thank you.
Hold on, sir, before you go anywhere. Sir,
Sir.
hold on 1 second. If you wouldn't mind staying at the podium for 1 more second, I apologize.
That's all right.
Mr. Davis, did you have a question?
Yes, I was going to ask now, did we also get an email copy of this report as well? Because,
Yes.
okay, 'cause
I
page
did
2 and
email it
3
to, there was one person I got a failure, and it came back, and I don't remember who it was.
Oh,
Somebody didn't get it, but that's why I brought copies.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. Madam President,
Yes, Ms.
I believe
Dukestein?
that recipient was Ms. Zorb because it was spelled M-I-Z.
Oh.
When I looked at the email,
Instead of MJ.
so I feel like it probably bounced back.
Thank you for that clarification. Okay. Who's the next person to sign in?
The next person signed in is Kathy Sherwood.
Yes, if you wouldn't mind standing and going to the podium. If you, when you signed in, were you signing in to speak at?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought I just signed in. I thought it was a sign in too.
Oh, no, it's only if you have public comment.
No.
It's definitely a pleasure to see you here. I know you're probably new. So just the next time you come in, just if you have a question, we use that sign in. If you have anything you'd like to speak to us about. Okay?
Madam President,
Yes.
I
Ms.
just, if I can, Mr. Stith, if you would not mind, can you come back up to the podium? I just want to have a point of clarification, if I can, Madam President.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Can you confirm,
He's getting his paper.
okay. How are you this evening, sir? Okay.
Excuse me.
It's a-
You have to speak.
Yes, sir. I said, how are you this evening?
I am fine.
Thank you so much, sir, for being present. Can you confirm the date of this analysis, that it was completed?
It was last Thursday he got the report. He did it he turned it in Monday, last week.
Okay. Do you by chance have a date on when the actual work was completed, though, by chance?
You do what now?
Do you have a date in which this work was completed?
The work,
July 20.
2 Sundays ago. He did it on a Sunday.
Oh, a Sunday. Okay, so I just want to clarify.
I'd have to look at the
Yes,
report
sir.
because I don't know where the date would be.
Yes, sir. I want to clarify if I can, and I do not want to put you on the spot, but I need clarification from our administration. It was June 15th, I believe, that was the date that council, Budget and Finance Committee was made aware that there were individuals in the building, and then the very next day, they were preparing to do the windows. And I do believe that was the same day that Ms. Zorb made a request, copying all of the council and to administration to not allow anyone back into the building, primarily due to council having oversight over buildings for the city. So am I under the impression that although that request was made, it was not honored?
So, yes.
Okay, that's all. That's all. Thank you so much.
Madam
Thank you,
President,
sir.
I have
All
one
right.
clarifying
Ms. Clear.
question. I have one clarifying question for you, sir. I apologize. You're getting your steps in today. I am looking at the front page. It says prepared for Inspector Chris. Is that you?
No, that is the Chris Green. He was here last session. He is the commander. I'm the junior vice commander is my position.
Okay, so the name of the inspector was
Chris Green.
Chris Green.
He's our commander, but he was a house inspector, and he did this for a living.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Madam President,
I'll let Ms. Chichester
Ms.
go.
Chichester.
so I wanted to hear Ms. Dukestein's explanation of why they were allowed in the building. She started to give a statement, but I wanted to hear for clarification.
Okay.
Um,
60.
I'll leave it at yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. Ms. Gaston?
I'm going to say it. I don't know if I'm going to get a response back because the individual is not here. But from what I'm understanding, Chris Green conducted this inspection with ProLab. I'm looking at the address, and it's not in Ohio, so I just didn't know if he was still currently employed. I know this is something that he did for a living in the past, but I'm not sure if that is still his job. That's like me going in and saying, I just want clarification at a later date. Maybe I can get an email from Mr. Green if he works for ProLab and was able and certified to go in and conduct this test. Not
Madam
insulting his
President.
intelligence, because he and I did speak about that's what he used to do. I just didn't know if he was still doing it or if he was retired, what that looked like.
He
Yes.
was retired. He is retired,
He is retired.
but his license is still active,
Perfect.
and he did wear full gear when he went in.
Okay.
He wanted to make sure that I knew that when he told me.
Okay.
Madam President,
Hold
don't
on
leave
one
just yet.
I'm sorry, Mr. Smith. Do you mind staying at the podium? I feel really
Don't
bad
leave.
that you're
I'm so
having
sorry.
to
You
go
keep
back and
walking
forth
away.
a million times. Just hold on
It's
one
good
second.
exercise.
We just love you being up there. We're
Yeah.
just, Ms. Chichester.
There is a Diana Saad, I think that's how you say her name, but she's the laboratory director or other approved signatory, and it looks like her signature is on this report. So did she help review the findings with him?
She did she just did the test. She
Okay.
reviewed the test.
Yes, that's what I
The
meant.
testing, yes.
Yes, so
And
he
she
did
sends
the
test to
physical
him, and
work, and he sent it in to her, and she wrote up the report. Is that
And-
what my understanding is?
Yes, that's what
Awesome.
happened.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Hold on.
just for
Ms. Alexander.
just for clarification, Inspector Chris just collected the data.
Yes.
He
The
did
sample.
not, the sample.
samples,
Yeah, the
yes,
sample.
yes.
He did not actually review the samples and say, hey, it's low mole, excellent mole, or
It's done with the machine.
so he
You put a
went
cartridge
in
with the machine, tested it, and he sends the samples
Send it off.
to the laboratory, and then they give the report.
So
They
he's the
test it.
sample collector.
Yes, he did the sample collection.
Okay,
That's what his license is for.
okay, thank you.
All right?
Thank you, sir.
Madam President,
Ms. Dukestein.
I'm sorry, I have some clarifying questions, actually. So, are you saying that,
He sat down again.
that's okay, I'll rescind.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston.
so I just want to make sure I understand this completely. And for those, because there was a lot of questions going back and forth, I kind of want to summarize what's going on here. So we have the DAV, the lovely DAV, come and do some work on the 1500 building where they will reside. So it's the back half of the east building. They cleaned it up to the best of their ability, put in some sweat equity. And then the same DAV did a air test on the back half, sent it in, had another licensed person review that sample, and that is the report that we have here.
That is what I'm picking up from what's being laid
Alrighty,
down.
I am crystal clear, thank you.
Madam President,
Ms. Alexander.
I think we have a citizen that came in late, so it looks like she wanted to say anything, but I don't think she had the opportunity to sign in.
No problem. Thank you very much, Ms. Alexander, for bringing it to my attention. Would you like to speak? Yes, please. I'm happy to sign in. Yes, go ahead and just come to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. If you wouldn't mind stating your name and your address, that'd be great.
Good evening. My name is Chandra Barnes. I reside at 1824 Emerson Avenue, 45239. Actually, I'm a homeowner there. I don't have the dates in front of me. I apologize. It's been a crazy day. My son was stopped last week due to a call. They originated from Dollar Tree. They accused him of stealing the bathroom key. Ultimately, he was stopped close to McDonald's. There's some gray areas there. He's 16. He was with a 13-year-old, my nephew, and he was asked, did he consent to a search? My son said no. The officer continued and was like, well, if you didn't do anything wrong, why don't you consent? There's some other things in there, so I will say that this is not the complete record because it's still under investigation and understanding. Ultimately, my son, his words, out of fear, decided that it's best to get home than to stand his ground. So he allowed the officers to search him. I have questions for you all. One being, what is the proper procedure for when we encounter minors, and how do we handle that? Why wasn't I called? But more importantly, I reviewed the footage at Dollar Tree. I spoke to the manager, and I want to know why they're permitted to continue to operate in our community. My son is 16 years old. He probably has cut some of y'all's grass in here. He's a good student, and I shouldn't have to share with y'all that he's a good person and deserves to be respected. Anybody that encounters the police or fictitious charges should be what our Constitution say, innocent until proven guilty. So I just don't understand why she didn't review the camera, why the police didn't ask to review the camera, and the bathroom key was there. And I guess lastly, because I'm slightly unprepared, that's why I was late, and I apologize to this room for that.
No need, no need.
This all could have been done better. And as a homeowner, respectfully, the police, y'all all work for me in some type of way, and my son. So I'm just trying to understand, why is this business, as I described, he's employed, he's responsible. where are these kids to go to the store at if all the stores say 18 and over? And if, when I spoke to the police, it's these kids in this community. When I spoke online, it's these kids in this community. I just left the manager again for the second time, and her plea is, well, you have to understand that there are bad kids. There are bad people in the world. So why do we have to prove that we're worthy of respect prior to being searched, seized? What I just want y'all to know is that I bought a home here deliberately. Today I spoke to my realtor. The fear in my son's eyes is nothing that no mother should have to live with. And then the guilt of him being a child that had the opportunity to walk away, I don't have an opportunity not to speak to y'all today. I have a responsibility. I don't know what we're supposed to do about the bad kids in North College Hill. I raised my son different than that. I don't know what we're supposed to do. I'm open to dialogue, but at this time, something, policy, procedure, it needs to be transparent. I'm not finding it on the websites. I'm getting mixed answers. And the Constitution is clear, and I'm sure the ordinances are clear, but when I'm asking questions, I'm not being treated as if I pay everybody's salary, because I do.
Madam
Ms.
President.
Ms. Barnes, I have a question before.
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
Oh, you're fine. I'm short, so it's fine. I get it. So I see an email here that I was CC'd on from our interim police chief, Cheney.
Yes, ma'am.
He had emailed you on 7/29/26 and said that he had received your email because you had sent an email.
Yes, ma'am.
And that he was going to review the incident and then provide answers no later than 5 p.m. on 8/7/2026. This is 8/3. Has he gotten back to you?
Actually, although I am a tad frustrated with the how the information is coming out, it's coming out very guarded, but I do commend him. He's reached out. He did provide me a blanketed statement. I don't find any findings. And if I was looking at an adult video, I would concur with him. I have seen the video, but we're talking about a 16 and a 13-year-old child. And let's be honest, we're talking about two black young males in America being stopped by cops. And I will never forget my son's words. He said, my back was to McDonald's. 2 officers approached us from the left and another one from the right. I didn't feel as if I had a choice but to consent.
Ms. Dukestein?
Let me just first say I apologize for your experience, and Interim Chief Cheney has been very communicative with
Responsive,
you.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, and the footage he allowed you to review ahead of time. He emailed, he initially said, why don't we sit down together? And I know that his intention was to go through the policy that we have at the city level, the Hamilton County level, and the state level with you, so you could understand the policing that was applied there. I'm not in a position to, before you have the opportunity to see it, I don't want to defend or excuse either. So I would ask you that you follow up to meet with him so
Yes,
that he
ma'am.
can go through that. Again, I sincerely apologize. I have a son your age, and I understand the fear that happens for a mother when those incidences happen. So if you will follow up, and then if you still feel the same way, then you are happy, I'm happy for you to return back to council or either reach out to me personally to resolve any further issues.
Absolutely. I was told that this meeting is to make things a matter of record, and the moment that I want to make matter of record is, as a woman, if I say no, no is no. As a child, when he said no, why wasn't no respected? And how many times do you have to be asked the same question? Again, I respect you, and I will absolutely follow up and get those things, but I felt that it was my duty to show up here today and express what occurred with my son, and that what are we gonna do about Dollar Tree? We already have 2 other dollar stores. Are they really necessary? From the potholes in the parking lot the trash in the parking lot, the appearance of the store, and the way that they're treating community members. How long do we pay people to abuse us? Because, again, I own my home.
I would agree with all your concerns. And this isn't a one-time, one-and-done scenario. It's something that, so many intricacies of the situation that needs to be
Absolutely.
addressed over and over again. So I'm committed to seeing that through for you. I know that Interim Chief Cheney is as well. Again, I welcome you to come back to council if you don't feel like your issue is resolved once administration has an opportunity, or even just continue on throughout the process. I would like to add that your email is a written record.
Thank you. In conclusion, the reason the police is being brought up here today is because I spoke to a particular officer immediately after the incident, and he happened to be officer on scene. I have that communication recorded, and he assured me my son wasn't searched, but the video says otherwise. So it's just a lack of honesty, the lack of transparency, and then ultimately I'm trying to avoid the lack of ownership.
I would like to submit to that. I'm not sure that the officer in charge, which is the one you were referring to, had enough time. Whomever that was probably should have waited to answer that question, because I don't think that that officer had the opportunity to review the exchange before answering your question, because it was very soon after the incident.
I apologize. Please let me clarify. The officer that I spoke with, not Sergeant Wiley, the officer that I spoke with was an officer that was there and executed the stop. So he was absolutely prevalent and aware to what had occurred. And to give the parent, after not being contacted, false or misleading information was highly inappropriate. In the meantime, my son is a walker. He loves to walk everywhere. He hasn't left the house. Thank y'all for y'all time.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, if nobody else will, I most certainly could not let that go by and not address and speak up. Heartbroken, devastated, and almost in tears. Sitting up here hearing that. We know the climate of the country. It is what it is. However, we do not want North College Hill to ever be that way. Not now and not in the future. There was a question that you asked, and I don't believe we have an answer. And the question was, what is our policy? What is our procedure? What is our protocol if there is someone under the age of 18 that is detained, whether it's a petty theft or whether it's something major? Do we reach out to the parents? And if you can't answer that today at 7:39 on 8/3, I would ask that we get an answer, because that needs to be understood.
It does.
13 and 16, detained, and no adult called. Yeah.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston.
I just wanted to say that I piggybacking off of Ms. Curitan, that I feel for you. I have a young son as well, and he thinks the police only pull over bad guys. So, you know, having to stop and explain what it looks like for him in the world is difficult and sad that we have to do it regardless, especially not in our city. Did I have to think that something like this would happen? So again, as a mother, woman to woman, I totally understood where you were coming from when the answer was no. Mom should have been called. So again, I apologize that you and your family experienced this.
Prior to the question, Mom should have been called.
Amen.
Okay. All right, I see that I don't think we have anyone else signed in. Would anybody else like to speak? Okay.
You
have one person.
Oh, I apologize. You have 3 minutes, if you wouldn't mind stating your name and your address.
My name is Renee Stiles, 2090 West Galbraith Road, and my question is, I know that you guys are going into executive session. Can you share what the executive session is about? I may have missed that. Or give me like a quick, I know you can't go into details, but.
Madam Chair, Madam President,
Yes, Ms. Cole.
in the agenda, it says 121.22G, subsection 1. I'm not 100% sure which section that is, but normally we announce the exact purpose of what the executive session will be for at the time we're making the motion to go into executive session. So that will be verbally stated, and it will be recorded in the minutes.
Okay. After executive session and then you convene back into your meeting, will there be, if allowed, will there be discussion about the executive session?
No, because what's in executive session is covered under executive session rules.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is basically, I was looking for my.
Madam President.
Mr. Dieters, would you like to maybe address that more succinctly?
I'm not certain what the question is. I mean,
Ms. Stiles, do you want to
I don't
restate?
even know why we're going into executive session, so it's hard for me to answer the question.
So if the law director doesn't know why we're going into executive session, is there, I mean, can we say why we're going into executive session?
Ms. Zorb, you were going to state something?
Yeah, I wanted to point out that there is another spot on the agenda for further remarks from the audience after call of members, so I don't know if.
That was my final question.
Sorry.
That's
Didn't
okay.
mean to jump the gun.
That's all I wanted, so I have no further questions until later.
So, Madam Chair, Madam President, pardon me.
Ms. Curitan.
So for those who are not familiar with what Section 121.22 states for G1, it says to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official. It also goes on to say, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual, unless the public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual requests a public hearing. And to Ms. Clear's point, we do read this before we go into executive session.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Curitan.
Madam President,
Ms. Zorb.
and I feel like we're going back and forth, and I don't want to do that. But I do also want to point out that I believe I've heard Mr. Dieters say to us a couple of times that we should not read that entire paragraph. We should be more specific about what the topic is that we're going in. So I'm not sure what that is, because I didn't call it, but just I'm putting it out in the air one more time.
Madam President,
Ms. Curitan.
I called the executive session, so that's why I read the whole thing, because that's where we're going.
We're going in for every single one of those?
We are,
I was just going to raise a point of order, because that's
Yeah, hold on,
literally
Ms.
the
Clear.
very next bullet point on our agenda after the presentation of businesses is discussing the executive session. So I'm wondering,
Hold on, Ms. Clear, you haven't been acknowledged.
well,
by
it's a
the
point
chair.
of order.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, to your answer, Ms. Stiles. So, we are going into executive session. To my understanding, this is, it's about a public employee. That's what's listed under G1. It has listed a whole bunch of things because a lot of things fall under that. So when we call it, when we go into executive session, yes, it is restated, and it is specific. So it's going to be, we don't usually list out every single little thing. Ms. Curitan was just basically stating what the whole section is and what we have to choose from. And anybody can call an executive session that is up here, and Ms. Curitan did call it in regards to a public employee. Ms. Curitan, did I distinctly?
in a synopsis, yes.
All right. Does that answer your question, Ms. Stiles?
Yes, that answers my question, and my follow-up question was, will there be a time for discussion afterwards? And Ms. Zorb already answered that question, so I'm good.
Just to put a caveat, there might be some limitations on that discussion as it would be
Understood.
covered under executive
Madam President,
session.
I think that second part is only supposed to be for comments on legislation, right?
Yes.
So if
Not
it's
only-
not
But it doesn't say
legislation,
that
it wouldn't be
anymore.
permitted.
It doesn't, it
Used to be.
Right.
So since it's not stated, then that leaves it open for me to ask a follow-up question.
yes. But
Perfect.
just understanding there may be some limitations on what we can answer.
Understand. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Stiles. Okay, so, Sure. State your name. You have 3 minutes. Oh my gosh. Your address.
Russ Seidema, 1504 Clover Knoll. Now, Susie, am I to understand, we're supposed to sit here and wait for the executive session to be over and then finish this meeting? Bad timing. That, you can just drop it. I'm just disappointed.
Well, no. It's a valid question. Okay, so we don't always have executive sessions. Sometimes it feels like we do. You know,
No,
there's a
just
lot of business.
today, you
but-
want me to sit and wait while you go off, and then we'll talk to each other until you come back and finish this meeting.
Yes.
It should have been done at the end of the meeting. We shouldn't have been kept waiting. I understand it's important, but we shouldn't have been made to wait. I only got 2 minutes left, so that's all I have to say. Can I address the mayor?
If you have a question, sure.
The lady said she didn't want to answer.
Yeah, if you can speak into the microphone.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Your view on securing 1500 Galbraith, are you going to chain the doors to keep people from entering? What if the council doesn't want people in there and they're supposedly in charge? Who is in charge, and what are we going to do to make it safe?
1500?
Well, whatever, the old school.
I'm trying to make sure I understand your question. So council is in charge of buildings, but the day-to-day operations fall to administration. So for everything that happens and everything that goes on with the building, so just imagine we need a water leak or something. So it's a building, but administration has to have some type of leeway to go in to make day-to-day decisions.
Right.
Now, 1500, we've been talking about 1500 since I've been.
Right.
So initially, to your point, if we have to chain the building, that's something different. But then that raises a whole lot of different concerns. So you look into insurance. If we do this, then we have to say the building is closed, condemned.
Right.
So that's in itself raises a lot of concerns, and it adds additional finances to the city, which when we looked into, I can't give you an exact dollar amount, but to deem a building unoccupiable, then it's just like, it's a whole lot of concerns around it. So
right.
The DAB did contact administration to say, we want to go in and clean up. With that initial conversation, these are some of the things that we want to do. Now, is someone there every day to make sure that they're not in there? No. That they don't go. Did we know that they were going in to clean and initially had mentioned that they were going to do a test? Yes, they did.
Okay.
But, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So, I'm sorry my time's up. Mary Jo, are we going to secure the building or not?
Council does not have, I'm sorry, Madam President. Forgive me.
Ms. Zorb.
Council doesn't have the authority to do that. That table has the authority to do that.
Oh, okay.
So I apologize. I sent an email. I thought it was a strongly worded email that said, because if someone does get hurt and sues the city, then council has to come up with that dollars, right? Because we are in charge of the purse strings. So that's why, as the chair of the finance committee, I felt like it was my purview to say the building has been shut down, and actually the building was shut down by the mayor. We didn't shut it down, but I agree with when she shut it down. There was airborne mold and airborne asbestos. I don't want to be in there, so I agreed with that. So from that perspective, I'm okay with it. But what we didn't know is that, and actually it was the DAV folks who told us that they had permission to go in. No one else did. And it was just by happenstance that they told us after one of our meetings.
Right, right. Okay. I misheard. I thought you said they weren't allowed, but you're saying that it was highly recommended that no one go in there. I understand better.
Madam
Okay.
President.
So I understand.
Madam President.
I do think we should just lock that building up.
Agree.
put a chain on it. If the water's not running and the electric's off or whatever, the fire department can get in there if something happens, but people shouldn't be going in there. You know, it's bad. I mean, I remember it from before, it was bad. So, thank you for your time.
Madam President.
Ms. Dukestein?
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't have your name. Do you mind repeating? Zeideman?
Zaidama.
Mr. Zeideman.
Yeah.
I would agree that we need to enter the building with extreme caution. The times and spaces where provisions have been made for people to enter the building, I can assure you the city has done so with the absolute safety in mind of the person entering the building. There have been lots of subsequent inspections and professional perspectives and things examined to just allow for a small set of things to ensure that we are operationally doing what we need to do by the building. I did not ignore Ms. Zorb's request. I would like to state that.
Well, thank you for clarifying that, because when you said yes, the way you said it was just confrontational.
I just said yes.
Well, no, when you said yes or no to the question, what was it? It doesn't matter. When you only answered with one word and you didn't want to explain it, I thought, yeah, it's a little confrontational. But the motion's going to come up to where you're going to tear it down anyways, right?
That's not what.
That's what the resolution's about? No? We're not tearing it down?
That's not what the resolution says.
What does it say?
Madam
Excuse me.
I'll read more and more. 3 minutes are up.
Madam President.
Madam President.
Ms. Curitin?
Thank you so much, Madam President. Mayor Nichols, I just want to go back to one of the statements that you made mention of, and it is true that Ms. Dukestein has control over day-to-day operations. But what day-to-day operations did Ms. Dukestein need to conduct in 1500 post Ms. Zorb's email on June 16th that needed the DAV to be in there?
Post?
That's correct. So Ms. Zorb sent the email June 16th, what day-to-day operations needed to be conducted in the 1500 building by Ms. Dukestein that required her to A, not respond because we never received a response, but B, to more so allow any individual into that building.
So there, Madam President,
Ms. Nichols?
there could be several reasons why
Not could be. What was the exact reason?
I can't tell you what the exact reason for that particular, but when you say what day to day, so we have, council has asked for us to get,
Different reports,
I'm sorry.
estimates. reports.
estimates on different things. So that's day to day. People will go in. They would have to go in. But if you're referring to DAV,
I am, yes.
I can't answer that question for you because this was something, I can't answer it. I can't tell you why with that day-to-day, what she would say, well, you can go in and do it. I can't answer that.
So I believe that you are also on this email. So I just want to let you know that council sent the email June 16th.
Ms. Zorb sent the email.
I'm sorry,
that-
yes. Council is CC'd on this email. The request to not allow anyone in this building for a number of reasons. No response was given. We just want that request to be honored. Even if Ms. Dukestein would have come back and said, hey, council, I have the DAV scheduled to do windows. I have the DAV scheduled to do a mode test. I have this, that, what have you. But no communication, and then to find out that they've been in there, that breaches the communication between council and administration.
Madam
President,
Weakens the
Madam
communication.
President, point of clarity, please.
I do believe that DAV did say that when they had that conversation that was their intention. When they talked about the window, they talked about doing a mode test. As a matter of fact, I'm sure I heard that from the gentleman who was in here. Was that Mr. Green?
Madam.
Mr. Green did say that evening.
Ms. Chichester?
I want to bring some facts into clarity for this conversation. DAV has asked previously in the past numerous of times, and I believe Historical Society has asked too as well, to go into the building to collect their things. They were warned of the possible environmental concerns. They said they would take all the necessary masking precautions in order to be protected. Council has allowed them, administration has allowed them to do that. Since we've abruptly had to vacate the building. Just bringing some clarification into something you said. Ms. Dukestein did start to give a clarification. She was asked to say yes or no. She did give a yes. And at that point, I think we were trying to drop it so we could move on, so this couldn't be a dragged out conversation or meeting for us. And then I want to make another point of clarification so that the public doesn't think the building is open. It is locked as much as we can lock and secure a building, but you know, people break in, people do things. So it's not open just willy-nilly for people to go in and out of. And our Public Works Department do work out the backside of that building. This building has been hot button topic in our city for the longest. At some point, we'll all come to a kumbaya understanding of what to do. Today might not be that day, but you know, it could be tomorrow, we don't know. So I hope your questions have been answered about the building. And the financial reason of not putting the lock on it was discussed prior to other meetings, excuse me. We didn't put the lock on the building or chain it because then it would be considered a condemned building. Paying the monthly insurance premium on a condemned building
We didn't have that
could be extensive.
Madam President.
Okay, one thing, also as a point of clarification of my own, I had extensive conversation with Mr. Green via Facebook, and he had asked about going into the building and doing a test, and I told him at that point that he needed to come before council before going back into the building. And at the end, I think that is when he came to council and spoke to council, and everybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was in July.
Right,
Was it
I was
that
here.
that
He
he
did.
came and spoke his intentions?
Right.
So, I very much appreciate you questioning this because we do not want anyone going into the building, and it is dangerous. There's a reason we're discussing it at length with asbestos and certain levels of mold. I get your questions, but one thing is that, you know, we can't, for whatever reason, what the administration is stating about insurance and whatever, we cannot condemn the building.
Madam President.
Makes good sense.
Ms. Alexander.
I heard Ms. Chichester say that council said it was okay for them to go back to the building.
We never did.
I was just wanting some clarity on when that occurred. I remember them talking about it, but I don't remember us taking a vote or saying thumbs up or.
Madam
Ms.
President,
Chichester.
you are absolutely right to correct my words. Words do matter. You are right. We didn't vote. We didn't give the approval, but we all sat here maybe it was last year's council, excuse me. Some of us weren't here yet. When those committees came and asked, and they were given permission, no one objected, interjected. They were asking. It was one of the hot meetings where all the DAV, the American Legion women, and I think some representative of Historical Society. Mr. Davis, you're shaking your head. Yes. Do you remember that meeting?
I remember when they came,
Madam
but
President.
I
And
don't
then
remember.
they asked if they can go in and obtain their belongings because they were saying, and I remember the DAV said they would not come back to another meeting at that meeting too as well.
But getting their belongings is different
Different.
than getting a test.
And we're So getting-
Point of
that
order.
Test just
Okay.
came up.
Excuse
Point of
me.
order.
Hold on. Did we answer your question?
Yeah, I'll be around for more of it, so.
Okay. I'm going to call
Catch the rest later.
I'm going to call it for the moment because we
Yeah,
do
that's
have to go
fine.
on with
Please
our
do.
agenda. But you did get some.
Yeah, I did. I got clarification.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, ladies.
All right,
Madam President,
Ms. Guess.
may I be out of order? I just want to say one thing because it could be really important.
So how out of order are you going?
I wanted to mention that Public Works does not work in the back of the east part of the building. They have their own separate building, so they are not around the environmental issues. Anybody who watched that could have sounded confusing. I just wanted people to know it is back there, but separate.
Yes. back of building, not back east building. Back of.
Thank you for that clarification. I just need to know how out of order you're it's going there. Okay, so next on our agenda is there's a guest speaker tonight, the business of the month. Yay. So,
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Randall Harris. I'm actually the branch manager at the Chase, right down the street. Chanel was supposed to be here, but she's actually in Cleveland. She's a community manager, so she has to travel around. So I came in to fill in for her. I would just like to thank, the collaboration from the city of North College Hill. I actually went to elementary school out here and middle school, went to Clovernook and Becker. So it's good to, come back to the city, work with the city and everything like that. And yeah, that was pretty much it. If I had more time, I would have more to say, but I kind of got thrown in it. So I do appreciate your partnership.
Madam President, congratulations.
Madam
you.
President, I do apologize. I kept saying he looks so familiar.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, okay, I was looking for Chanel, and I do apologize. So
You're
this
fine.
is Chase, one
Yep,
of our
yep.
business of the month, and Chase is
My name
actually
tag too, just to make sure.
yeah, June. So let's talk about Chase. We love Chase.
Thank you.
They
We
do
love you
so
too.
much for our city, and we just appreciate you being here. If you give me a minute, I'm going to go get you.
Thank you.
Madam President.
But with that, I'll do the others when I come back, but I do want to present him and Chase with their business of the month for June. Again, we thank you for all that you do, the services that you provide to the city, not just sponsoring us, but just what you bring to our community, the financial workshops. I think those are important, and I think more people need to sign up for them, including me. I'll come. Maybe I can get a gift. I heard you give gifts after you send a 5-minute.
We're actually coming to the back to school bash. We'll be
Oh,
giving
great.
out backpacks and stuff.
Yes,
Great,
thank
great.
you.
It's a great partnership, and so we just appreciate what you do for the city of North College Hill.
Thank you.
Madam President.
Ms. Chichester was first.
Absolutely. Thank you. I just wanted to take this time to thank them for the gift for the Back to School Bash and from the Juneteenth Festival, as you guys do support every year the Juneteenth. So I just wanted to say thank you for the backpacks. We will be using them. We used them this weekend. We got them all stuffed and fluffed and ready to go for Thursday. So we'll see you again on Thursday, or will Chanel be there?
Yep, I'll be there. My son goes to the elementary school, so I'm
Yay.
going anyway. Yep, so I'll be there. And thanks for getting it out my office.
No problem, no problem. Thank you.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Cureton?
It's always a pleasure.
Sorry.
Oh, she's getting an award. Okay, I see.
It's always a pleasure to have Chase Bank. I recall us working together last year with Ms. Clear before she and I were on council planning the Juneteenth. We've had some really, really good partnerships. So thank you. And I
Thank
thank
you.
Chanel also for being a part of it. I pray that you all can just stay here and that other people in our community will understand that if you need a relationship with your financial institution, they are right here. They're right and they're available, right? So I encourage everyone, whether you are young or if you're seasoned, to make sure that you have your affairs in order, and Chase Bank can most certainly help you with that. So thank you for the partnership. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Madam President.
Ms. Dukestein?
Okay. So again, we just appreciate Chase Bank and all that you do for our community. And so we want to present you with the North College Hill Business of the Month.
Thank you.
Present it to Chase Bank. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
So now we are moving on to the executive session part of our evening. And this is executive session G1, to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
Madam President, I do apologize. There were two other businesses of the month. They didn't show, but I just wanted to mention them.
Oh, of course, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry, I do apologize. For April, we had the Grand Decor boutique furniture store there. Really nice and cozy furniture store. If you've never been in, they have some selective pieces. And I know sometimes she had like a jazz night. So stop in. And the other, is a lot of our favorites. I don't know, a lot of us go for, what month? May? We had College Station. nothing else to be said, if you haven't gone, pickleball, cornhole in the back, just to get a quick bite. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. To restate, we are at the executive session part of the evening for G1, to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee official or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee. Do I hear a motion?
Madam President,
Ms. Chichester?
I make a motion to go into, I forgot, a motion to go into executive session.
Do I hear a second?
Madam President, I second.
Okay. So I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Chichester and a second on the floor from Ms. Curitin to go into executive session as stated.
Madam President,
Discussion?
point of order.
Yes.
I've said it twice now. I would like the specific reason we're going into executive session, not the entire section read.
When I read it, I left out official licensee or regulated individual. I just stated that it had to do with a public employee.
Okay.
Ms. Curitin, could you give any additional, to hone that in any more?
You did excellent, Madam President.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion on the floor with a motion and a second. Roll call.
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston,
Yes.
Miss Alexander,
Yes.
Miss Curitin,
Yes.
Miss Clear,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Miss Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
And then, also with this, we, as you called it, who would you like to
Thank
have
you.
coming in?
Just Mr. Dieters and our invited guest.
Who are those?
Oh, and all of, so let me read the names specifically. If that's required, I believe. Give me just a second. All right, so in this executive session will be all of council. It will be Mr. Suttles, Mr. Hines, and Mr. Moore. And Mr. Dieters.
Okay. agenda is council committee reports, rules and public policy. Ms. Clear?
Thank you, Madam President. We met on July 13 at 6:00 p.m. and talked about quite a few items on our agenda. My notes are all over the place. We talked about the junk car legislation. We talked about
Excuse me.
we talked about that at length, and I have notes written all over to the side here. But anyway, we talked about a procedure for onboarding new council members, and I believe that we initially agreed that we would talk about that today. But having seen such a full agenda, I opted not to add that to the agenda today. In fact, I'd rather talk over the draft in our next committee meeting, if that's okay with the rest of the committee. Then we also talked about policy for submitting meeting minutes, which relates to that. We did not have an update for Public Records Commission. And we did not talk about the acceptable use of AI as a policy. That is something that is still on the agenda, but we did not go over that. And in a future meeting, we will discuss the legislative life cycle process so that we all have a clear understanding of what needs to happen first, second, and third when there's legislation involved, so that we're all kind of singing from the same sheet of music. So it was a productive meeting. Not a whole lot of topics, but we did do a deep dive into those topics. Next committee meeting is August 10th at 6 p.m. here. And if you are interested in listening to us talk about public policy, you're welcome to attend.
Thank you, Ms. Clear. Public safety, Ms. Curitan.
We met July 13th, and we had a very loaded agenda. We were able to welcome, well, we did. We welcomed a Public Works Director, Supervisor. We also welcomed our new Neighborhood Resource Officer. And then we encouraged the community to reach out if they had any questions. We talked about some of the things that code enforcement has completed. One of the things that we talked about included how many code enforcement complaints were received in the month of June. It was 43, but then we were not able to get a clear understanding of how many of those codes were cleared. We also, in reference to code enforcement, talked about what is the process and the coordination with Mayor's Court for vacant properties. Our conversation also talked about the traffic blitz. Ms. Dukestein confirmed that, and Chief Cheney confirmed that June, July, and August is when the traffic blitzes were occurring. And then at the conclusion of the blitz, we will get a report. And then we also mentioned some information on the acquisition of some speeding stop signs, the flashing speeding stop signs. We learned that those were not acquired by our police department at this time. Then we moved forward and spoke about some lane narrowing, lane striping, some gateway treatments, and a one-way street conversion. So we had a very lengthy discussion. There was one thing that we did not get to in our discussion, and that was regarding a dilapidated building, 1819, or a dilapidated house, rather, 1819 Dallas Avenue. And so we talked about a lot. Although we covered a substantial amount, there were still some areas in which we wanted to cover. And so we look forward to our next meeting, which I do believe is August the 10th at 7 p.m. in this very room.
Thank you, Ms. Curitan. City Community Development and Recreation, Ms. Gaston.
Thank you, Madam President. We had a productive meeting. Originally, the meeting was scheduled for July 27th, but unfortunately, we did not have quorum, so it was canceled, and it was rescheduled for July 30th at 6:30 here in this very room. In attendance, we had myself as chair, we had Mashallah Alexander, vice chair, Ms. Chichester, and Mr. Davis. Unfortunately, administration was not able to attend. So overall, we talked on a couple of things. We discussed a little free libraries. And that initiative, we moved that piece of legislation to the floor, which will receive its first reading today. There were edits made to the resolution and then brought back to our committee. There was an update from Ms. Dukestein, but of course she was not available to discuss it. We could talk about it later. But it's the bus rapid transit update. We talked a lot about how that is a positive for our community. We are still unclear about having written confirmation from the school board and Dr. Blaylock about the final location for the outdoor fitness court, just having that. We were excited that the equipment has arrived and is stored with Public Works, and we believe that we'll get started working on that here soon, prayerfully. We talked about Veterans Park. There is a new light installed for our flag. We talked about business engagement and different ideas to bring our businesses together so that people in our city also know what is available to them in our city. And just coming up with a directory and maybe revitalizing or just restarting a business association here soon. We talked about our parks and updates. We talked about the recreation commission. Mayor Nichols phoned me prior and gave me those names, and we discussed that and their next meeting. We touched briefly on Ordinance 7-2026, and I gave an update that our city administrator had reached out to RWB, and we are awaiting to hear when RWB will be able to go into the building and start working on removing all asbestos throughout the entire 1500 building. So yay that. In new business, we talked about Party in the Park and different events that we're going to bring to the city, local radio station opportunities. So some really cool, fun things. Our next meeting is going to be 8/24, and hopefully a lot of things that we talked about in our last meeting, we get more answers to, and we will move on from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gaston. Can I have a point of clarification on your synopsis of your meeting? You mentioned little libraries.
Yes.
You meant little pantry, right?
Oh, yes, I have little libraries on my, yes, it's the Little Free Pantry. My apologies.
Thank you. Okay, Budget and Finance, Ms. Zorb?
Thank you, Madam President. So Budget and Finance met on July the 27th at 7 p.m. We had a special guest, Mr. Davis, hung out with us that night. And we accepted minutes from May the 26th, June 15th, and June 22nd. We received a lengthy monthly finance report from Ms. Stevens-Knott, which is always a pleasure to get, and she is in the audience, so my hat's off to you again. We also received an open PO report. There was a discussion about the demolition estimates for the 1500 building that Ms. Dukestein has sent to council. There was also a serious storm going on at the time, and we lost power about 7:30. Luckily, it came back on. So we resumed the meeting. We talked about a public hearing that will need to occur for us to accept the county dollars. And then we talked about two pieces of legislation, two resolutions, which are on the committee did approve them, so they are on the agenda for tonight for the first reading. In old business, we talked about the electrical boxes one more time that RWB repaired on Galbraith. We talked about Ordinance 7 with the ARPA funds and the abating asbestos and what the next steps would be. And Ms. Dukestein will reach out to the vendor and communicate to the vendor that week. So that was last week. Then in new business, we talked about the financing for Party in the Park that was just discussed in City and Community Development. And we discovered that there is a budget for that, and that number was going to be sent to Ms. Gaston, so she knew what she was working with. Time to wake up.
All right, get up and get ready for it.
In our parking lot, we had there's a discussion that will begin in September regarding the review of the 2026 budget and a discussion on the 2027 budget looking forward. Then we also talked about steps businesses need to take with regards to RETA, and a list of businesses are going to be sent to Ms. Gaston. We talked about the audit. It is still going on. Then that's the audit from the state of Ohio. And there's going to be a liquor license tax revenue. Excuse me. We are still receiving the liquor. Sorry, my notes are scribbly too. We talked about the revenue that we get from the liquor license and revenue from the tax budget. And we adjourned at 8:41, and our next meeting will be on August 24th at 7 p.m. right here, same BAT station. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any ad hoc reports?
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston.
I just wanted to give out some important dates from the school board. So North College Hill Elementary, important updates, and it's all the schools. The Back to School Bash is Thursday, August 6th from 4:30 to 6:30. There will be fun games and communities. All of the elementary school teachers will be there, so they'll welcome families, and any questions that families have, they can get them answered there. If you guys are interested, August 10th is the next board meeting for the school board. I find it really, really important that parents go and participate and hear what's going on. And just hear which way the school system and everything is going. It's really important. You can get a lot of information. The school board, all of them are really nice and kind and willing and able to answer questions. So get involved. And August 11th is the first day of school for students. So we are excited, and we're wishing them a successful school year. And that is all that I have for school board.
Thank you, Ms. Gaston.
You're welcome.
Madam President?
Ms. Clear.
I honestly can't remember because it was a long time ago. July 10th, the We Thrive team met here. And you didn't attend that one, did you? The one that was just 3 weeks ago.
I can't even remember what I had for dinner last night.
Okay.
At this point, sorry.
So, no, you're
think I
fine.
did. Yes.
So, yeah, we did, and we talked about the several items. I am unprepared for the details, but the one thing that we did discuss that is on the agenda this evening is the grant timeline for the Little Free Pantry. That is not funded with city funds. It's funded through Hamilton County Public Health grant, mini grant, micro grant, really. But that project is underway, and they are waiting on this legislation to pass as a required step of, our acceptance of these funds. And I think the deadline technically was August 1st, but they knew that we don't meet on Saturdays, so they know we're meeting today. The public has not seen this legislation, as far as I know, but it has been discussed at length in committee. And so I just wanted to give some additional context for that particular resolution that is on our agenda this evening.
Madam President.
Madam President.
Ms. Gaston.
May I ask Ms. Clear a clarifying question? Sounds like if this is time sensitive. I just want to make sure I understand that and council understands
It is time sensitive, but I'm also a huge advocate that the public should see what we're voting on. So it's a quirk of the calendar, really, that we are where we are right now. So, but it's not going to cost the city anything in terms of dollars, I don't believe, to do any of this, unless I'm wrong. You're shaking.
I'm sorry. I thought you were going to say something else, Madam President. May I speak?
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Dukestein.
Ms. Clear is absolutely right. It's not going to cost the city anything in terms of dollars. But in order to finalize and secure these funds, we do need to have this legislation passed. It is only our summer session that inhibited it from going forward sooner, and we had some edits that we talked about very extensively in CCDR's meeting. And so by the time we got the edits specific to North College Hill, we landed at August 1st. August 3rd, we were nearing the deadline.
Madam President.
Ms. Chichester.
Yes. With the We Thrive Committee knew that we were voting, or we were going to put the legislation on the council floor today. So they were aware that we were in summer session, and that's why we missed July, because they needed to go through committee for discussion and edits, and now this is the first time it's coming to floor.
Thank you. Any other ad hoc reports? So I will add my little ad hoc report from back in May when I did the committee of the whole. We do still have to accept the minutes from that meeting, and we do have 3 things that need to be passed by council that were gone over during that meeting. So be expecting that to be discussed during old business. All right, we are moving on to administrative reports. Mayor Nichols.
Thank you, Madam President. I just got a couple questions. The first one, I was not here. Ms. Zorb, you mentioned that in your meeting that you guys talked about Rita and the businesses. Can you give me just briefly? No.
I'm sorry, I can't. I was trying to read my chicken scratch, and I'm sorry, Madam President.
Go ahead, Ms. Zorb.
Forgive me. I don't have any more notes than that, other than, I'm sorry.
Madam President?
It's hard to conduct a meeting and take
Take
notes
notes.
at
I
the same
understand.
time. Forgive me.
I didn't know if it
I'll have a
was-
better explanation in the minutes when I
Okay.
look, sorry.
All right. Thank you. I had a question for Ms. Jillian Clear. That piece of legislation from that special meeting, do you have that? Or who has it?
Madam President,
Ms. Clear.
I have the email version of it. I did
Okay.
not print off a copy yet. But I do know that it has been quite some time since it passed. I wasn't sure if it still needs signatures by law. Because I know there's like a time period. I just don't remember what the time period is.
So, Mayor Nichols, I spoke with Mr. Dieters in regards to this. Mr. Dieters, if you'd like to elaborate, but this was the question I'd asked you prior to the meeting in regards to the legislation that had been passed when Ms. Nichols was on vacation.
Right, so if it wasn't signed, I mean, it could still be signed, but it would just, the mayor would not have an opportunity to veto it any longer because the time had passed, but she could still sign it if she wanted to sign it.
Madam President,
Yes.
I do believe the charter states that at the next official
Meeting.
council meeting.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I wasn't asking for
have-
veto. I was asking for signature. But I just
But you
wanted to
could
clarify.
You could sign it, yeah.
Okay.
I always forget that we only have one meeting in the summertime, so.
Okay.
You're right.
I wanted to state, I know Ms. Gaston talked about the board meeting coming up for the school district. They do have a special board meeting. We just went out today, and it's actually Wednesday at 6:30. I'm not sure what that meeting is about, but they do have a special board meeting this week if anyone wants to attend that. Ms. Curitan sent me an email in regards to the commissions. With me just getting back, I'm just getting all of that, so I'll get that to you hopefully before the end of the week. And, were you gonna say something? I'm sorry. Special board. The only other fun event, I know you all got invited to the volleyball. So you play at your own risk. Oh, you weren't?
No.
I'm sorry, I just
Oh.
assumed. So
Yes.
I just assumed the council was on that email. I didn't look at everyone. So on the 26th at 10, there is a it's only for staff? Oh, I'm sorry. I was inviting you to something. Because they typically invite them to those, so I do apologize. Looks
They ain't
like
want
you.
none of this smoke.
They do.
Madam
Alexander
President.
said it right there. They don't want the
Telling.
smoke. And then another thing, I wanted to just mention that Miss Javette Williams does a community garden, and it is really flourishing. If you have not gone by, it's really looking good. The nettle, if you're into that, fresh nettle, I'm not, because you have to do too much with that. And the mint, I am. The mint is amazing. She has some chocolate mint there and some regular mint as well, along with a couple of other things. I don't garden, so, but if you get a chance to ride past and just view it, she's really doing an outstanding job. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mayor Nichols.
Madam President.
Ms. Chichester?
Just for clarification, if you've never played chair volleyball against our seniors, they are tough. I'm still waiting on a play review, but, you know, they said it was out, but I thought I was in, so I just want to say.
They cheat.
Okay.
They do.
City Administrator's Report, Ms. Dukestein?
Thank you. I'm going to take the podium today just because I have so much, and so much of it is so formal. First, I'd like to just thank our Public Works Department for participating in the procession in the loss of the Cincinnati Public Works employee. Many of us probably saw the incident that was reported on our local news, and I would like to just extend sympathies to the family. Our Public Works wrote me back this weekend. They were able to participate yesterday, and they were so honored to be a part of that. It was really, really a grand gesture for the life lost. So I'm pretty proud that we were asked to participate, that we got to participate, and we had some pretty nice looking trucks in that procession. And that's always a joy for our Public Works to whip out their equipment with other Public Works in the community to just say, hey, look at us. So that was good. I know that there are a lot of follow-ups per the meeting. I wanted to apologize to CCDR for my absence, but I will watch the meeting. I have not yet done that. I did send you an email to let you know, but I will follow up on all those asks. Because the meeting is so extensive, I had initially planned to report in my admin report, but I will do that via email. And then there were a lot of follow-ups as it related to the legislation that we have on the agenda tonight, one being Little Pantry and the time. So thank you for getting that on the agenda. And then Ms. Zorb's committee, there was the one with the tall grass and the garbage. You asked me to send out the distinction as it related to that, and I did do that. So that is not a rush, but I wanted to make sure you had supporting materials. So Council received some communication via our IAFF Local 5279 president, and I wanted to speak to that communication. I provided a briefing to Council as it related to that, but I wanted to formally and publicly document the efforts that I made to remedy the situation. In no way is it to slight any one party. As a city, I want to work this through for the sake of retaining all of our firefighters, retaining our chief, and those all involved. I think that we can together remedy the situation. I will not go into any in-depth personnel issues, but what I will do is give you a chronological account of what my exposure and reaction to this situation is. So in your packets, if you look, I have this document here. It looks like this, the front page. You can follow along with me. I'm going to read because it's pretty in-depth and I don't want to miss anything. So I won't be speaking in speech format, but just reading. So this is addressed to the mayor and the members of City Council, and it is from myself, City Administrator, and I put this together today. This subject is the chronological administrative record regarding the IAF Local 52 vote of no confidence. The purpose of this memorandum is to provide North College Hill City Council with a factual chronological record regarding the administrative response to the vote of no confidence issued by IAFF Local 5279 concerning Fire Chief Joe Plackey and Deputy Chief Lenny. This memorandum is intended to document the city's response, the timeline of events, and the actions undertaken by administration after first being notified of the concerns. Thursday, July 23rd, 2026, at 4:44 p.m., I was first informed that the full-time firefighters were proposing a vote of no confidence regarding Fire Chief Joe Plackey and Deputy Chief Linney. Prior to that time, I had not been informed of any proposal for a vote of no confidence, nor had I been made aware of any specific concerns that ultimately formed the basis for the vote. At that time, I was on a scheduled vacation. Recognizing the seriousness of the concerns, I immediately made myself available rather than waiting to return to work. And at the bottom here, you have a text message, and it's time-stamped. It is a screenshot from my device indicating when that message came in. You'll see some communication there. I'll let you review that. I immediately responded with an incoming call at 3:15 or 3:14 that lasted over 50 minutes. And in that conversation, I heard some of the concerns and was initially informed about the proposal to present the city at large with a vote of no confidence. Later that evening at 9:49 p.m., IAFF local president, I'm sorry, I think my papers are out of order.
That's next on our page.
Is this one?
Later on that evening, where you were at 9:49.
Okay, thank you.
Next on in our
All right, sorry. Later that evening at 9:49 p.m., IAF Local 5249 President Kyle Scuttles contacted me by telephone. During that, I'm sorry, let me correct his name. His name is President Kyle Scuttles. Contacted me by telephone. During that conversation and an earlier conversation with Vice President Chris Hines, I spent a considerable amount of time listening to concerns being raised by Local 5279 leadership. And then you'll see the record of that phone conversation. During these discussions, I advised local leadership that upon my return, I intended to meet with them immediately. I requested that they bring any documentation to support their concerns so that the city can conduct a thorough, fair, objective review. My comment was to hear all parties and to involve all parties involved determining any appropriate administrative action. On Monday, July the 27th, 2026, upon my return to work, administration immediately scheduled a meeting with IAF Local 5279 leadership for the following day, Tuesday, July 28th, 2026. You can see an incoming call, and right there is the Outlook meeting of the invite of the two individuals, and it says firefighter join up. Tuesday, July 28th, 2026, a meeting was held with Kyle Scuttles, Chris Hines, Kyle Scales, Human Resources Representative Darian Porter, and myself. The meeting lasted approximately 3 hours. During the meeting, administration listened to the concerns presented by Local 5279 leadership. At the conclusion of the discussion, I established measurable benchmarks and specific action items intended to improve their working environment and address the issues that had been raised. I also explained before making additional decisions, it was important to meet with Chief Joe Plackey to hear his perspective. I committed to doing so the following day. On Wednesday, July 29th, 2026, I met with Joe Plackey, myself, and the HR representative, and then what you'll see there next is a Outlook calendar invite to Joe. I met with him from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. A meeting was held with Joe Plackey, Human Resources Representative Darian Porter, and myself, the administrator, beginning at 11 a.m. and concluded at 1 p.m. The meeting lasted approximately 2 hours. Administration met with Chief Joe Plackey to discuss concerns that had been presented by Local 5279. As a follow-up, at 5:39 p.m., Vice President Chris Hines contacted me by telephone to inquire about that meeting. During our discussion, I informed him, based upon the information obtained, administration intended to immediately address two of the most significant concerns that had been raised. I further advised him that work will begin on two additional issues by Friday, July 31st. Mr. Hines acknowledged that plan before our conversation concluded, and I want to just say acknowledgement just means okay. And then you can see record of the outgoing call and the time, and I try to highlight it, and you can see the amount of time we spoke. Later that evening, that same day, approximately 8:57 p.m., President Kyle Suttles notified me by text message that IAFF Local 5279 intended to submit an official vote of no confidence. You can see that text message exchange there, and then I called him. You can also see that there. During that conversation, I advised Mr. Suttles that I believe such action was premature for several reasons. Less than 1 week had passed since administration first became aware of the concerns. Administration had responded immediately despite my being on vacation. Multiple telephone conversations had already occurred with local leadership. A 3-hour meeting had already been conducted with the union representatives. An administrative action plan had already been developed and communicated. 2 directives issued to Chief Plackey had not yet reached their implementation deadline. The city's handbook establishes a procedure for reporting employee concerns and provides guidance regarding communication with City Council. The North College Hill Charter assigns responsibility for personnel administration to the city administrator and specifically limits City Council's involvement in personnel matters. During that discussion, Mr. Scuttles advised me that Mr. Jeff Moore recommended forwarding the communication directly to City Council. I requested Mr. Moore's contact information so I could discuss the matter further directly with him. Mr. Suttles declined that request, stating that Mr. Moore communicates only with local IAF representatives. At 10:10 p.m., the vote of no confidence later was transmitted to the mayor, city council, and myself. You will see there the letter. That was the email sent out. Thursday, July 30th, 2026, upon arrival to work on Thursday morning, I contacted IAFF District Vice President Jeff Moore to inquire whether he had advised IAFF Local 52 to issue a public statement and a vote of no confidence concerning Fire Chief Joe Plackey and Deputy Chief Lenny. Mr. Moore informed me that he had not spoken to the representatives of Local 5279 for a few weeks. I'm sorry, it says a couple of weeks. I don't want to imply more time than not, a couple of weeks. While he was not aware that Local 5279 had been considering a vote of no confidence, he was aware that they had been considering a vote of no confidence. He stated that he had not discussed whether a final decision had been made or whether a statement should be released. This information was inconsistent with the account previously provided to me with IAF Local 5279 President Kyle Suttles. I expressed the inconsistency with DVP, that's District Vice President Jeff Moore, on the basis that the city had not been given appropriate notice to respond to the concerns of Local 5279. He advised that if I document that in an email, he advised that I should document that in an email. So that I did. And then you'll see the email start of that. Following receipt of the letter of no confidence, I made 2 separate attempts to contact Mr. Suttles by telephone without success. I then actually went to the fire station and requested that he return my call. I also attempted to contact Vice President Chris Hines. Neither call was returned. Later that day, while I was at Public Works facility, I encountered Mr. Suttles while he was on duty in the city vehicle. I asked why my calls had not been returned. Mr. Suttles indicated that he had been busy. I expressed my disappointment that the vote of no confidence had been submitted despite discussions we had held only hours earlier regarding allowing administration the opportunity to complete its review and implement the redirection that was already underway. Mr. Suttles then advised me that he was not comfortable discussing IAFF matters while on duty. I reminded him that only 1 week earlier he had initiated discussion with me regarding the same IAF concerns while he himself was on duty, and that despite my being on vacation, I had made myself immediately available, listening to their concerns, developed a plan, and began addressing issues without delay. Additionally, Mr. Suttles spent multiple hours while on shift discussing IAF matters, and see the attachment A. And so I think that's important. I was ad-lib here a little, because Exhibit A is attached. It's an email where, if you look today, I asked Mr. Porter to check and verify. These are previous meetings that were on my calendar where Mr. Suttles specifically was talking about the IAF bargaining agreement, and then it correlates at the top where he is on the clock. So I'm just trying to establish that I'm human. If you don't want to talk, just say I don't want to talk. But to say that you can't talk about these matters when the city has previously allotted for the firefighters to work on the bargaining agreement and those things in their interests per the IAFF to talk, there's no rule or regulation that says they can't talk. I would have just appreciated the honesty to say, I can't talk. I would also like to say that in that time when I was speaking to him, I said, if you're not able to talk while on duty, when are you able to talk? Mm-hmm. He then said that he would be getting his daughter for the rest, or tomorrow. And I said, when are you available? And he did not say anything, leaving me with no way to connect or finish the conversation. So I walked away. Administrative summary. From July 23rd through July 30th, the administration undertook the following actions: responded immediately while on a scheduled vacation, conducted multiple telephone discussions with IAFF Local 5279 leadership, requested documentation on all the supported allegations, scheduled and conducted a 3-hour meeting immediately upon returning to work, met with the Fire Chief Joe Plackey to hear his perspective, developed measurable corrective actions, directed immediate administrative changes where appropriate, established additional corrective actions with implementation deadlines, provided council and mayor with a brief in response to the email by IAFF President Kyle Suttles. At no point before the vote of no confidence letter was transmitted was administration provided with documentation sustaining the allegations presented during those discussions. Nevertheless, the concerns were treated seriously, investigated immediately, and addressed through the city's established administrative process. This memorandum is intended to document the sequence of events demonstrating administration's response from the time the concerns were first presented to the submission of the no confidence vote, from the date of administration first became aware of the concerns until the vote of no confidence was distributed. Less than 1 week had elapsed. 3 business days were provided for me During that period, administration acted immediately, remained accessible even while on vacation, met extensively with local leadership upon returning to work, developed measurable corrective action, and began implementing those actions before the matter was even made public. Attached to this memorandum are supporting records, including call logs, text messages, calendar entries, meeting documentation, and illustration of the communication and the meetings that occurred between administration, human resources, and an entry made by our HR representative and IAFF Local 52 leadership throughout this time. And so at the back of that, you'll also see a letter from our human resources representative, as he was privy to all of those conversations. Because he's not present, I will allow you to read that on your own, but it indicates documentation. I would like to say that in this, I extensively asked for documentation. I let Local 5279 know of the liability that they will be putting the city in for me to be moving without formidable documentation, and that I needed to investigate and complete a process. And this was met with still a vote of no confidence. I apologize for having to bring it to you this way. I hope sincerely that we can walk forward and restore the working relationship with our fire department. However, it has become challenging because this was an opportunity to put some metrics out there, provide redirection, and work actionably against that. And then, do you have any questions on my administrative report? Or about what I just read?
Madam President,
Ms. Orb.
thank you for this report, Ms. Dukestein. You put a lot of time into this, but I have what I might be small, insignificant, but then it might not be. At the bottom of page 3, you have that look for the bold 5:39 p.m. as a follow-up at 5:39 p.m. And then you state something about administration intended to immediately address 2 of the most significant concerns. My question is, who identified the prioritization of, like, who said that those were the most significant? Was that deemed by administration, or was that presented from the union?
By me. And I mitigated that decision based on the risk for our city, the risk for our firefighters. I can give you one of the examples, but I would rather not dig into all of them. I would be happy to enter into an executive session and talk about the specific personnel issues more extensively, but I do not think it's fair, as some of them are still undergoing investigation, for me to say those publicly.
I was just looking for the perspective of who thought these were the most pressing items.
I did not leave one issue unaddressed, though.
I don't know any of them, so. Okay.
Any other questions?
Madam President.
Ms. Curitan?
Ms. Dukestein, I just want to look at the administrative report that you provide monthly. I just have a little bit of a clarification. I know that you load these onto the website. Is there a way that when we talk about the finance department, and I don't know if this is for you or Mrs. Stevens, if we can specifically identify when we say we have 9.2 ending balance, that all of that is not available and a lot of that, excuse me, is reserved to the tune of like over 5 million, close to 6. So can we begin to identify that in these reports so that when the public view it, they don't say, hey, the city has 9 million. Well, no, some of that is levy money.
I think that, Madam President,
Ms. Dukestein?
I think that we can if you haven't noticed, we also uploaded Ms. Stevens' not finance report as council requested right under mine. I will speak with Ms. Stevens not, and we will talk about how to distinguish that information so that residents are not misled.
Madam President.
Ms. Chichester? Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Curitan, I apologize.
Thank you so much, Madam President. And then, Ms. Dukestein, I wanted to talk to you about the Justice Works Violation Initiative Program. Did that just launch August 1st?
In my administrative report, I think I detailed that it launched August 3rd. In your packet, you also have a flyer detailing a little bit more information. I included that with today's information. I thought it might be useful. I did not send it out electronically because I only got it very late in today. So you can read that, and I gave it to Jillian so that she can put it in the packet and upload it. But I can also distribute it electronically.
Okay.
So just to clarify that statement, when you say the program partnership launched today, that means that everything that's needed for the program to fully be implemented in North College Hill, it's ready to roll out, or it has already rolled out?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I will remind council that this was funded by a grant through Hamilton County.
Ms. Curitan?
Thank you, that's all for now.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
Ms. Chichester?
Thank you. So, getting back to this administrative report, I have some questions, but I don't think without a executive session, because there are personnels that we can discuss openly. So, I will ask, if it is not complete, what is the time frame for the investigation to be thoroughly completed? I know you documented the timeline, but there were some concerns. Are you still addressing them, or have they thoroughly been completed?
No, I was not able to thoroughly investigate all of the concerns.
Okay.
I'm still undergoing an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
One conversation I was able to have today, which was leaps and bounds forward into understanding.
Absolutely.
But I will keep council abreast of when the concerns are fully investigated and the results of that.
That's fine. Thank you. And I'll reserve my questions until we have a full report.
Madam President,
Ms. Sorb?
I apologize that this conversation has sparked two more questions for me. So the first one is, I want to follow up on what Ms.
Chichester.
I remembered your name. I couldn't remember what I was going to ask. It's back. So this investigation, are you doing that, or have we hired an independent investigator?
We have not hired an independent investigator, but the accusations are said such that we have the documentation to account for the things that are there internally. Like, if just for example, this is not associative, but like if someone were to say I was on the clock or I wasn't on the clock, I can look at cameras, I can look at time stamps, I can look at email, work done, that the nature of the things can be fully investigated in-house.
Okay, thank you. If this should have to go to an independent investigation, will you come to council and let us know? What is our role in that?
I'm fine with council getting the reports that they need to understand what is happening here as I know more.
Okay. Now, on to my second question that was just spurred by your comments. As far as and I believe we call it the pretty report from the finance meeting, I thought, it was my understanding that I was going to put or submit the pretty report with the minutes that Ms. Clear was going to post under, I'm sorry, my words are not coming well, under the committee reports, because we're talking about it there, so it's kind of like a point of reference for people to look at. I didn't know it was going to get posted under the administrative report.
So I would have to go back and watch that meeting. My understanding and what I denoted in my notes was that Ben would post it under mine. But if you would like to assume that, I don't mind.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's that cross-reference is a better fit.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
So I have a follow-up question, please, Ms.
Go ahead, Ms. Dukestein.
Do you want me to remove what has already been posted and then send that over to you so that you can post it correlated with your minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
So then we'll do that continually. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Madam
Ms.
President.
Alexander.
Question. It's not regarding the monthly report, but getting back to what's going on with the vote of no confidence. So can the vote of no confidence move forward? Or can it be rescinded if how does that work? I know you said you're still investigating the issues, but it looks like they've moved forward with the vote of no confidence. How does that balance out?
I think it's pretty significant that they voted no confidence. That's how they feel. That's what they are standing behind. I don't devalue that. I think that we have to move forward as a city with evidence-based information. And my intention was to come back to them with some of the concerns with evidence-based both ways, and decide what administration will do with said information either way.
So are both parties open to talks, or how?
I had believed
how
that
does
we
that
were.
work?
I'm sorry, I did not.
Yeah, I was just saying, how
I
does
had
that
believed
work?
that we were ready to move forward. I had created things that were, like I said, were immediate. I know that there were some action items for our HR department to follow up on that were going to be satisfied by last Friday. But I was a little just deterred and disappointed by any further action. I think that everybody needed an opportunity to regroup and recalibrate when that came out Wednesday. So I did not exasperate the issue other than asking Mr. Suttles about the email on Thursday. I just kind of said everyone needs to de-escalate or else we won't have the opportunity to go forward.
So what is needed from council, or is there something needed from council?
I think if you are so inclined and you would like to have more details, you need to have an executive session where I can bring in more information. But I don't think that it is fair on this side of things to talk about these things openly. I think that the support of just allowing the fire department, myself, Ms. Joe Plackey, and them to talk about it. My intention, and I'll dare say this with them here, is to put a meeting on the calendar so that we can talk about the plan of action, the decision for staff, and lies with administration. But I don't take that lightly to say I'm discrediting any information given to me. I'm saying that, and I told this to them, Joe is he's on our salary ordinance. EEOC laws apply. Due process applies. And that is part of the investigation. But I'm saying that to say, I don't want at all anyone to believe that there are these largely egregious things also. So I feel like I'm walking around a lot of eggshells because I'm not able to talk about specifics. I don't mind giving the specifics. I just do not think it's fair for them or the parties involved, other parties involved, to talk about that openly, considering we are still under investigation. I think it would be a much more clear path if we were able to talk about it freely.
Madam President,
Ms. Curitan.
we all heard what our law director said. So I'm going to say that. We all heard what our law director said.
Madam President.
I'm sorry, I'm just a second, please. I just want to also allow everyone who's watching, our council, administration, audience, to know that some of the things that we're dealing with, it just doesn't happen in North College Hill. It happens all over. I think the big distinguishing fact is that some of our neighboring communities, if I look at Springfield Township, Mount Healthy, I'll just name those two, their administration actually has, not because council has a say-so in the hiring or the firing, but they have representation in the room from council. They don't just say, it's day-to-day, it's operational. Council has nothing to do with it. They actually invite their council in because they know that council's input matters. Not only are we here as servants of the city, we live here, right? And so that might be something that our administration would be open to, because again, this doesn't just happen in North College Hill, this happens all over. But what's different here is that oftentimes we are told this is administration's responsibility, this is day-to-day operations, and then when things come up, it's like, well, we need our fire department, we need our chief, and we need everyone to work together. But if council is always pushed out and never welcomed in, not because we have a say-so, but because we provide very good feedback and insight, I think that would really allow us to move forward. And I welcome you, Ms. Dukestein, to even speak with some of the other cities that are neighboring around us. You might find that some of the things that they've implemented when they've experienced similar situations might be critical in how we respond in this now, in the past, and in the future. I do have another question for you, though, referencing the administrative report. You mentioned that, and I'm going to read it, under the Violation Initiative Program, the VIP, under Justice Works, it states, during the initial weeks of participation, Justice Works will conduct comprehensive assessments using staff observations, internal evaluation tools, and input from both parents and youth to develop individualized goals and service plans. Can you, A, tell me what that means? And then B, can you tell me how that lines up with what the state of Ohio recommends for the Ohio Collaborative Youth Standards for Policing?
Yes, I attached the pamphlet for your review as it relates to what the state of Ohio requires, or the program that you're referring to. Those do not correlate at all. One is through Hamilton County and one is through the state of Ohio. And when I responded back to your inquiry, I said that we fully intend to move through groups 3 through 5 and complete the entire recommendation of the state of Ohio. We were just delayed because we had at one point lost the accreditation under interim chief Cheney. We gained that back, and so we are working to regroup and make sure that we align our policies. So in essence, how that works and the metrics for measuring whether we're compliant or not is, do our policies match what the state of Ohio requires? And so once we go through the process, then we would have some policy changes to align with those metrics to say that we have completed groups 3 through 5.
Madam President,
Security.
I think that my question may have been extensive, so I'll just repeat the first part again. And just to maybe, I understand the VIP information, so thank you for that here. But Ohio already has a standard across the board for all police interactions, as it was stated in my email. So how is this program, thank you everyone who funded this grant, how is this program different from what the state of Ohio already has? Is it like a level up? And then where are the youth that are going to be observed coming from? It says during the initial weeks of participation, Justice Works will conduct comprehensive assessments using staff observations, internal evaluation tools, input from both the parents and youth. Where are these parents and where are these youth coming from?
The youth and parents are coming from those that have had infractions through the city of North College Hill. For example, I'm not saying that the Kroger incidences they're gonna, because it's kicking off on August 3rd. But if you have an infraction that would normally be passed over to Hamilton County, they're going to, in North College Hill, divert them to this program.
Madam
And so
President.
those
Madam
parents
President.
and those youth from that.
Madam President?
Mr. Curtin, are you done?
That's all for now. Thank you, Madam President.
Ms. Chichester?
I was just going to point out on there, it said, who in the middle on the, this part of the pamphlet, 12 to 17-year-old males and females with low to moderate offense levels, but charged through the NCH Police Department. So I guess that, wanted to say, I guess that's the pool that they're pulling for this program.
Madam
Thank you.
President?
Okay.
Hold on, Ms. Gaston?
No, that was me.
No, she had asked.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Are you responding back to Ms. Chichester, or are you stating something additional?
No, I was actually responding to Ms. Curtin. I can wait.
Okay, Ms. Gaston?
I think I answered it in my head, but I just wanted to make sure this was the program that myself and Madam Mayor discussed in the beginning of summer from Judge Bloom that is being implemented. Originally, we discussed, maybe a curfew, all these different things. We were going to bring forth the legislation, but this program allows those who have infractions here in North College Hill to be a part of the program. And I just wanted to make sure that this is exactly what we talked about.
Yes, Madam President, I'm sorry. Yes, Ms. Gaston, you
Thank
are
you.
correct.
I just wanted to respond to Ms. Curtin. She said that we all heard what Mr. Dieter said. I was not included in that conversation, so I was not privy to what he said or how he directed you. So if I misspoke, it is the absence of hearing what Mr. Dieter said. So I just want to put that on record.
Any further questions for the city administrator?
Madam President.
Mr. Davis?
Okay. So in Poe's letter refers to a couple questions about equipment or infrastructure. So even if there's an impasse with the people part of this, or will we still be working on improving or fixing this equipment and infrastructure as we go forward?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Okay, any further questions?
I do just have one more quick question. Who is the liaison for the city for the VIP program? Is that interim Chief Cheney?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Ms. Dixie. Is our law director still here?
Madam President, he told me to inform you that he doesn't have a report.
Thank you.
Madam President, I'm curious, Madam Mayor, is he still, I had some questions for him.
He is still here. He had to take a call.
Crap. Can I reserve my right to ask him questions later?
We can bookmark you in.
Thank you.
Does our finance manager have anything?
Good evening, everyone. Oh, y'all sound so happy. I just wanted to inform I want to do the first thing I would like to do is I would like to correct in this meeting an error that I made last month regarding our debt. I misspoke regarding the amount of debt that is still connected to the 1500 building. I misspoke stating that $223,000 of that debt was connected to the roof, and that is incorrect. That $223,000 debt is connected to the 1500 building, but it's connected to bonds that were issued prior to the roof. The roof is 100% paid off, and the bonds will not be paid off until 2034. So I wanted to correct that in a public meeting because I misspoke in the public meeting. Additionally, I would like to say that our public hearing has been scheduled as it relates to acknowledging our public resources that we will be receiving from the county, and that will be next Wednesday at 5:30 in this room. That notice has already been placed in the newspaper. And then, Madam Mayor, the answer to your question around Rita and businesses was about us potentially making a mandate of business registration with RITA for any business that is doing business in our city. Because RITA now currently has a lovely little link that will give a QR code once they register with RITA. And then now we have a guaranteed avenue to confirm whether or not they owe us taxes. Because currently we have businesses doing business in our city, i.e. by way of getting permits, but they're not registered with our taxation department. And so they can kind of slide in and slide out without paying their due amounts. And Madam President, that concludes my report.
Madam President,
Thank you. Ms. Clear?
I have a couple quick questions for you. Okay. You said with the correcting the error for the debt for the 1,500 Galbraith, the roof is paid, but you said the bonds won't be paid until 2024.
2034.
34. Okay, I misheard you. Okay, thank you. And secondly, you said there's a public hearing. You said next Wednesday. Is that the 5th or the 12th?
12th.
The 12th. Okay. Is it on the website?
I don't know. By
And-
law, I'm
and-
required. It's like by law, I'm required to put it in the Cincinnati Enquirer. I
Yeah,
don't know. Actually, I think he did. I think we have it planned to pop up on the website. I want to say pop up on the website like Friday or Thursday, so that it doesn't get lost. So if we let people know, because if I let them know last week, they'll forget about it. And so it was about.
Well, is it going to be added to the meeting calendar? Because there's a calendar that we subscribe to, and it says that there's.
I can definitely
meetings
ask
coming
him.
up.
I failed to ask him to put it there. I'll ask him to put it there.
Okay, and last question, real quick. What is the nature of the hearing? What is the topic of the? You said Hamilton County, but they do a lot of stuff. So what is the specific topic of this particular hearing?
The public hearing is about making the public aware of the dollars that Hamilton County is saying that we are accepting the potential dollars that Hamilton County is going to allocate to us, i.e. the general dollars that go into our general fund, the levy, all of our levies, and the seniors. And so the first public hearing is simply about saying, thank you, Hamilton County. Yes, we will take the money.
Madam President,
Ms. Chichester?
can you give me that day of the week? Because I thought I heard Thursday, but then Ms. Clear said Wednesday. What day is it?
It's
again?
Wednesday, next Wednesday at
August
5:30.
12th?
August 12th. Yes, ma'am.
5:30. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay, now we're to the call of members portion of the evening. Ms. Zorb?
Thank you, Madam President. The only thing I had was the questions for our law director, so I'm still on pause. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Gaston?
In true Brielle form, I had something really flurry that I wanted to say, but to be a respecter of time, I'm going to pass.
Thank you. Ms. Alexander?
The only thing I wanted to congratulate Miss Macmillan. She teaches, I believe, 8th grade English at North College Hill, and she received a special award at the Martha Holding Jennings Foundation. They have special awards for Ohio educators and administrators, and she received that award last month. So she is one of the OGs of the school. You know, everybody's kid who went to North College Hill has had Miss McMillan a time. My daughter's had, and my son, my oldest daughter. So we just wanted to congratulate our shining stars, our teachers that stick around and form those bonds, you know, with the kids. So congratulations, Miss McMillan. That's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Curitan?
Madam President, thank you so much. I'll be very brief. I just am looking at everything that's happening. We are in the 8th month, the beginning of the 8th month of this year. And I just want to encourage and remind everyone who sits here on this council and our administration that this is our council meeting. We have work to do for the city, the citizens that we were elected to serve. And I just want to encourage all of us to consider that anyone who comes to our council meeting, they are guests. And if we do not conduct the business of the city in the way that we've promised and we've committed to, then we are doing a disjustice. And I know that sometimes I challenge things, but it's not because I'm challenging things because I don't know. I'm challenging things because I've done the research. And I encourage everyone here to equally do the research, make sure that you keep yourself accountable, and make sure that we can lead this city forward. This city has been through a lot. I remember sitting in the audience, March of 2024, coming into this room and just watching and just confused and like, what is going on up there? Part of the reason I ran and part of the reason I won. And so I encourage all of us just to consider why we are here. We are here to serve the citizens in the audience. We're here to serve the citizens who are watching online, and we are not doing the duty and the things that we have sworn to do, then I challenge all of us to just reflect and reconsider. Get back to the reason why we're here. That's a call of action to everyone on this council.
Thank you. Ms. Clear?
Madam President, I have nothing to add for call of members.
Thank you. Mr. Davis?
Okay. Really quickly, we're going to try to cut a page to 2 paragraphs. Once again, I'd like to wish our kids, our students, teachers, everybody a happy, healthy, prosperous school year as they go back on Tuesday the 11th. Football season starts August 21st. Soccer season starts August 27th, 5 o'clock at the 5 o'clock. Volleyball starts August 24th, 2026. And finally, this is August 3rd, the third day of what will be, it's not considered a celebration, but observance of Black August. Black August is honored every year to commemorate the fallen freedom fighters of the Black Liberation Movement, to call for the release of political prisoners in the United States of America, considering the people that are currently in the Butler County concentration camp, and our people that just and our Haitian neighbors who just got sent down here the last couple days. They are also political prisoners in the United States. To condemn the oppressive conditions of United States prisons and to emphasize the continued importance of the Black liberation struggle. This comes because the first Africans washed up on Jamestown, Virginia, as chattel on August 20th, 1619. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Chichester?
Thank you, Madam President. So I'd like to take a moment to recognize what makes North College Hill special, a special community to me. It's our people. This past week has been a powerful reminder that when neighbors, businesses, community, organizations, city come together with a shared purpose, there's little that we cannot accomplish together. With that, we have to come to the table with respect for one another and the mindset that at the end of the day, we all have the same goal. So first, I'd like to thank every business, every organization, every volunteer, every donor that made the donation for our Back to School Bash on Thursday. I think Ms. Alexander gave the time. Is it 4:30 or 4? Or Ms. Gaston, Councilwoman Gaston?
I believe it's 4:30.
4:30
to 6.
So the generosity of our community has been incredible. Every volunteer, every donation, every act of kindness is ensuring that our students begin the school year feeling prepared, encouraged, and supported. I want to give a couple of special shout outs to recognize the gentlemen of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Let me get that correct. For their outstanding commitment to service this weekend. This Saturday, they came in for their 85th clave, and they weren't just hanging out, partying. They actually put in some works and acts of service. They did some mentoring to our youth on Saturday, pouring into them words of encouragement, rolling up their sleeves, stuffing the backpacks, and making sure everything was in preparation for our back to school bash. That reminded all of us that service isn't about being seen, it's about giving back and pouring into the youth. Another special shout out and thank you to the Bay Business of the Month was College Station for its generous donation that will allow us to purchase 400 headphones for our students. Those headphones are not just supplies, they are tools for our children that they need. Thank you for investing in the future of North College Hill. Oh, and thank you to them also for graciously hosting the Men of Esquire and the Brothers of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated for lunch on Sunday. It was wonderful to reconnect with familiar faces, meet new ones, celebrate fellowship, friendship, and community. Thank you guys for your service, and thank you to the businesses for their hospitality. In July, we as council got to attend the African American music activities surrounding the Black Music Walk of Fame. That was a good time. My feet were hurting by the end. I don't know about you guys. I would also like to give my heartfelt condolences to the Wade family. Thank you for allowing us and council, myself and council, for assisting you and your family during that difficult time. I would just ask that our community please keep the Wade family and everyone in their in your thoughts and prayers. Ms. Dukestein stole a little of my thunder. Thank you to the North College Hill Public Works Department for participating in the funeral procession yesterday. I was proud to watch the procession of the city truck, different cities from all around our county. Honor that young man, honor the young family in that way. I was proud to be a part of North College Hill to see that we were also involved with that. I talked about the back to school bash. And that is it. Thank you, everyone. God bless. I look forward to seeing everybody on Thursday. Let's continue to building North College Hill stronger together. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, now we're at further remarks from the audience. As a reminder, you have 3 minutes if you'd like to reintroduce yourself.
Ms. Dukestein, I think you dropped your pen. I'll bring it over to you.
I don't think it's mine. Mine's here.
Oh, okay. Renee Stiles, 2090 West Galbraith Road. First, I would like to say, Ms. Dukestein, thank you for sharing your timeline. It is much appreciated. And to the council, I want to share that this is impressive. Your professionalism, your passion to do what is right, to be accountable and to be approachable is very impressive. Thank you. And your positivity, it like really, really shines bright. So I appreciate that. Ms. Curitan, in regards to what you had said about council and the departments working together, there was a memo that was placed January 6th of 2016 that states that the employees, if they were to interact with council, Ms. Dukestein must be included in that. That being said, I do know that that deters many of the employees, police, fire, and the public works, not to speak to any of you because of repercussions that may come their way. Now, if that was the intent, I am not sure. I did not get the memo as an employee, but to share with the working together, that could be a high reason as to why there's not that communication. That's all. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Ms. Stiles, can you clarify the date of that memo? You said 2016.
My bad. 2026. January 6th of 2026.
Thank you.
The memo was entitled, what was the Council Communication Protocol Official Policy Update, and it went into effect immediately the day that it was put in place.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, thank you.
Ms. Stiles, just a second. Oh, excuse me, I didn't say Madam President. Go ahead.
Ms. Curitan?
Oh,
Madam
actually,
President.
Ms. Chichester was in order. I was out, so.
Ms. Chichester?
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Stiles. Let me just give you why that it's not just our city of why employees can't talk to elected officials. It usually is to protect both parties, right? So that we, as council and elected officials, don't interfere with other people's job duties, because someone might feel obligated if I come to Public Works and address an issue on my street to address it, like if I am their employer, their boss, and we're not their employer and their bosses. One, and it also protects elected officials from maybe someone saying that they said something inappropriate or had some inappropriate discussions. I know that other cities do have like a liaison where I would connect with that department heads or that liaison's representative about something if I wanted to address that department. And then that department would connect and meet with that department and council together, so there's no impropriety or anything that could happen involved. It's like a protection. Some cities do have that, or do have where they can go through. For smaller cities, we don't have a liaison. We do go through that department heads, but not the employees. So just to clarify, so it's for protection, I guess, from both parties. It's supposed to be for protection for both parties.
Madam President.
Ms. Curitan?
Thank you so much. So I believe that that's a matter of splitting hairs, because if we look at Robert's Rules of Order, I'm not sure if this council is completely familiar.
Yes.
Robert's Rules of Order, in the 12th edition, it states that at any time, the council, actually, let me take one step back. I'm going to read to you our charter, because some people don't know what it says. Section 6.04, Council City Administrative Relations. And I'm going to skip the part because it does say that the city administrator are in any manner, let me start from the beginning. Neither council nor its committees or members shall direct or request the reappointment of any person to or removal from office or employment by the city administrator, or in any manner take part in the appointment, discipline, or removal of subordinates and employees in the administrative services to the city. Council and its committees and members shall not interfere with the portion of the service of the city for which the city administrator is solely responsible. Neither the council nor its committees or members shall give any orders to any subordinates of the city administrator. So when you made reference, and there's one more clause I'm going to read, when you make reference about somebody with potholes, if a council member is there and they're not giving a directive, they're in alignment. Council, and this is the most part that a lot of people leave off, council may, however, inquire into the conduct of any office or department, the performance of any contract, or any of the affairs of the city. So there we have it. Now, I also want to make sure that we're familiar with Robert's Rules of Order. And again, it says in the 12th edition, the 9th chapter, it states that in an executive session, that it is prohibited that only the members of the body are entitled to remain. However, special invitees and employees or staff members whom the body determines, we are the body, determines are necessary may also attend for the purpose of providing information. This is Robert's Rules of Order. This aligns with our charter, okay? So I want to make sure that even though a person may not have that preference of doing so, I do believe that we want to stay in alignment with the government duties that we are called to do. I do want to ask one question. Ms. Dukestein, is it true that email was sent January 6, 2026, from what Ms. Stiles have indicated, stating that the policy was in place, that any communication has to come with a CC to you?
Yes.
Thank you. And was that policy in place in 25 and when you started in 24?
Yes.
Thank you. What was updated in that policy between 25 and 26?
Nothing. It was just a reminder.
Thank you. Can you also confirm if you have made mention in that email that if they don't do it, there would be consequences?
No.
Okay. That's all I have at this time.
Thank you. Anything further, Ms. Stiles?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other further remarks from the audience? Okay. If you don't mind stating your name, your address, and you have 3 minutes.
1646 West Galbraith,
Okay.
if that'll work. Chris Hines. I just wanted to say, on behalf of the local, we appreciate you hearing our concerns regarding safety and the temperature of the fire department right now. While considered premature, the vote of no confidence was had. It was submitted. And we do look forward to working with you, and any supporting evidence, documentation that you need, we're just a phone call away.
Madam President,
Ms. Zuchstein.
thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else?
Madam President, just want to say thank you as well. That shows that everybody's willing to come to the table for the resolution. Thank you.
Madam President, I'll also say it, and I might be on Long Island, I don't care. I'm elected here for the citizens. If in fact there might be, as Ms. Stiles indicated, fear, I don't think anyone up here, I can't speak for everyone, but we are open. We're here. We're approachable. Not only do we serve the citizens, we live here, right? And so I've seen many at the Kroger or at the gas station, what have you. If you just want to chit chat or what have you, and this doesn't have to be anything regarding this. It's just let's get to know each other, right? I think it's important that we have healthy relationships. I think it's important. I think it's important. And if we do not have healthy relationships, it's going to break. It's going to break, and it's going to be worse than what we experienced in 2024. So we support the collaborative efforts. We will allow Ms. Dukestein to do what she's going to do. But yeah, we thank you for being here.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so before we move on to the legislation part of the evening, I have a bookmark. Go ahead, Ms. Zorb.
Mr. Dieters, welcome back.
I apologize. I have an issue going on with a client in Cleveland. That was a dire emergency, so I did not think it was going to be an hour. I thought it'd be like 20 minutes tops. So I do
get
apologize.
it. It's all good. All good. And honestly, I hope I'm not putting you on the hot seat. This is kind of a procedural type question. We had a special meeting to discuss council rules. We've amended them. Our council rules is getting really honed in, if I can say that. I want to know how, are council rules legal? Is it suggestive? Is it binding? Help me understand the difference between council rules, charter, ORC. Can you put all those in perspective for me, and so that we all understand what we should abide by?
I'll try to do it without teaching a jurisprudence law school class. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I need the tell me like a fifth grader conversation.
So North College Hill is what they call a home rule city, right?
Yes.
So we have a charter. So that charter is sort of like our constitution, right?
Yep.
And under Ohio law, you can choose to be a statutory city, or you can choose to be a home rule city. And if you're a statutory city, then you follow, I think it's Chapter 5 of the Ohio Revised Code, and everything's set out for you very clearly. If you're a charter city, then you have a charter. And then within that charter, then council also passes laws, legislation, right? That legislation is binding because it's a law that you've passed. Your rules are your governing body's rules. So they're not legally binding. They don't have the effect of law, but since you all are on council, have passed them, then when you do that to pass them, and when you run for council and you give your oath and say you'll abide by blah, 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 you're basically saying that you'll follow those. If a council person would choose not to follow those, then it would be up to council as a group to police that person somehow by either doing, talking about the issue, trying to find ways to resolve it, trying to find, do training, whatever it may be that you need to do. But ultimately, those council rules are what you've decided to utilize to govern yourselves in the process of how you wish to do the things that the charter requires you to do. Okay. I don't know if that is a helpful answer, if there's something more specific inside there.
May I ask a more specific
Yeah.
question? So it wasn't really a personnel kind of issue, it was more of a process kind of situation. So let's just say that our council rules say that we have to turn in documentation. Like I have to get my minutes and my pretty pages to the clerk by, I'm going to make up a time.
30 days after the meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
So what if I get it 32 days after the meeting?
Well,
What, do I get
think
my hand slapped? Do I go to jail? What happens to me?
Jail. You go to council
Hey,
jail.
hey,
It's that
hey,
little
hey.
room back there. We'll turn up the heat like to
No,
9 million
please
degrees,
don't.
and we'll make you stay in there. No,
I'll get them to you in 30 days.
No, I mean, you know, like, so that's a good example because, you know, that is not only a council rule, but there's also a Ohio Revised Code section about how minutes have to be turned
Okay,
in.
let's not use the ORC as a
Let's
backup.
just say something, I don't know, just whatever it is.
Something that is just in council rules.
Yeah.
Like,
If you had someone that didn't follow it, then you would want to bring that up publicly. And really, it's the president's job to enforce that. Like, so if I knew that somebody was violating a council rule, my advice to you would be to consult with the president. And the president, you would say, President, it's your job to enforce the rules. You run the meetings, you run council. This individual is not following a rule. I ask that you address that. And you would hope then that whoever president is of council at that moment in time would address it and try to find a way to remedy it. I guess after you gave someone enough opportunities, then potentially it could be some type of censure that you might do as a council if someone didn't do it. I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing public censure the first time someone violates a rule, but if someone just completely was adamant about, I'm not following your rules, then perhaps then at that point you might want to consider those as being options you would deal with.
perfect. Thank you so much.
Madam President,
Ms. Cureton?
thank you for that, Mr. Dieters, because I've said that for a while. I think also there is council training out there. There are, in fact, Chris Gilbert, right in Springfield Township. He does an amazing session on not just council, but administration and hospitality overall. I think that you and Ms. Clear attended one of his sessions before, but he goes more extensively into it. And I do think that's something that council can really, if we're ready to learn and move forward, I think that would be something that we can all take advantage of. I would not mind reaching out if there is a consensus, and we don't have to vote. It's a general conversation, but if there is a consensus or a majority, I would gladly reach out and see what kind of training that this council can have so that we can move forward with excellence.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Ms. Clear?
just to clarify, I guess for clarifying question, I suppose, to Mr. Dieters. Aha, I said your name loud because
Yeah, got me talking on the side, so I'm sorry.
So, and I know that you didn't want to go down the ORC rabbit hole, but, so let's say ORC says that, I'm going to use sunshine laws or something, or Open Meetings Act or something like that, right? That there's a statute that we have to follow regardless of whether we're a home rule city, okay? So if that clock runs out at this time frame, then internally we can control our own internal procedures to make sure that we don't run afoul of that statutory deadline, whatever that looks like for us internally. So let's say something has to be posted 12 hours before the meeting. Well, realistically, we know that it's more internally, it's going to have to be more like 48 hours just to make sure it can flow through everybody and get to the right time frame so that it can be posted well in advance of that statutory deadline. Does that,
Yeah,
so
like,
and that's
we
what we
already
can
have
do.
some of that because some of your notice of meetings is
Right,
different
right.
than what
And then
the
our
rest is.
rules can even further refine to say, this is the person who needs to have it by this
Well,
time frame.
A good example, I'll tell you, I'll just be selfish in my perspective, right? Like, I represent 2 cities, and sometimes it'll be like Friday at 4:30, and the meeting's on Monday, and someone needs legislation. You know, I always try to do my best if I can, but you know, there are some cities that say, if you don't get it in by this date, president will not put it on the agenda, even if the law director is willing to do it. Right? So those are just things that you have to decide amongst yourself, like where you want to draw the line on things, right? Like, and then of course there are rules, so they are kind of a little bit of a guideline, because let's just use that same example. Let's say it's something that nobody had any ability to know about. You know, something landed on our laps at the last second. If we get something passed on Monday, we get $1 million. We're going to find some way to get that done, right? Because we're going to make an exception. So I think it's more about like what reasonableness is. And so you actually, your example in minutes was really good, actually, Zorb, because, you know, it says reasonable time in the law, right? There was there was a case going back probably like 20 years ago, but it was the Clinton County commissioners, and they had not submitted minutes for almost like a year and a half.
Oh my.
And they were sued and found liable, and they had to pay a significant amount of attorney's fees. So I think it was called White versus Clinton County Commissioners, but I don't know if those facts are precisely right, but they were something like that. So those can also be like, you might have a rule to say we want minutes in no later than 30 days, but and the law doesn't say 30 days, it says reasonable, right? So what's reasonable? But so that's a good example of where both of your questions kind of overlap, because you're creating, like if you say we want them in 30 days, and you're creating an artificial deadline to ensure that you comply with a larger deadline of the law, right? But it really, I mean, it's really the honor system. You guys all got to buy in, right? So.
Thank you, Mr. Dieters. Appreciate that.
For you, Madam President, if I could just add, sometimes, and I know that I had an example with this, and I encourage you all to just do best practices in employment, just the baseline, not necessarily have to follow just the extreme, which is the law. Like, think about the best practices. I gave the example, and I'll focus on administration, that the fraud documents are not required annually, but it is much more difficult for us to keep track of something biannually as employees come and go. Did we miss them? Did they come here? Did they get it? Did they do it? Whether they're here or not, we are required. So we do it annually, and we do it at the beginning of your employment. Now, I'm not saying that's an example you should oblige, but I am saying that when you think about it, for me, it's always just best practices.
Thank you, Ms. Dukestein. All right, so let's get back to the agenda. We're now to the legislation part of the evening. Ms. Clear?
We have a third reading of Resolution 10-2026, a resolution to authorize the administrator to execute a collective bargaining agreement between the City of North College Hill and the Fraternal Order of Police Ohio Labor Council Incorporated.
Madam President,
Ms. Zorb?
I would like to make a motion that we adopt Resolution 10-2026.
Madam President,
Ms. Clear?
I'll second.
I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Zorb and a second from Ms. Clear to accept Resolution 10-2026. Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston,
Yes.
Ms. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Curitan,
Yes.
Ms. Clear,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Ms. Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0. We have a second reading of Ordinance 5-2026, an ordinance authorizing the expenditure of up to $445,382.86 in American Rescue Plan Act funds for asbestos abatement, demolition, and related public works infrastructure improvements at 1500 West Galbraith Road. We have a second reading of Resolution 11-2026, a resolution expressing council support for the temporary adjustment of Public Works Department working hours during periods of extreme heat to ensure employee safety and declaring an emergency.
Madam President, discussion.
Ms. Chichester?
I thought we said we didn't need this resolution for the adjustment of Public Works Department working hours, because they already did that. I thought we were.
Madam
Madam
President,
President,
Ms. Gaston?
I'm sorry. My understanding was this was just stating that we are in support of it, not necessarily asking administration to do anything, but just showing our support.
Madam President,
Ms. Clear?
I believe the discussion that she might be recalling is that when we discussed whether or not to remove it from the agenda, and that motion failed, so it stayed on the agenda.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Madam President,
Ms. Dukestein?
I do believe there was some contrary information that was kind of put out there publicly, but I can tell you that our Public Works Department started June 1st on their summer schedule. I'm sorry. I don't know.
We have a second reading of Ordinance 6/2026, an ordinance to amend and establish salaries and staffing levels for city employees pursuant to the requirements of Section 3.06 of the City of North College Hill Charter. We have a first reading of Resolution 12/2026, a resolution to certify assessments to the county auditor for placement on the tax duplicate.
Madam President,
Ms. Clear?
I had a question about this. Only because I have she's gone. Ms. Stevens not. But I had a question about this. I've been intimately involved with our rental registration procedures. I did it personally, did it a couple of years. This seems like an extreme number of rental registrations that are delinquent compared to previous years. And when I ran the numbers, we had 613 delinquent assessments for this year. It's difficult to tell what's going on because they're not in any particular order. They're all kind of all mixed up. But anyway, 613 this year compared to 318 last year. And when I ran a comparison through the North College Hills licensed Copilot tool and said, how many of these are on both lists? How many of them are on one or the other list? There's 247 properties noted for both years. There were 70 that were noted in 2025, but were not in 2026. And then 364 new this year. I know we only have 900-ish rental properties total. So we're saying this year, for some reason, over 70%, like over, I can't do the percentage. It's a high percentage. Did not register at all. So that seems extremely high as a percentage of our actual units. I know in 2024, it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 that were delinquent. So I'm kind of wondering, why did we actually have this many owned homes convert to rentals, or how did we arrive at? I mean, there's 17 pages of properties here versus like 10 last year and 5 the year before. So that's kind of what I'm wondering. How are we coming to these numbers with these properties?
Madam President.
Ms. Dukestein?
So in our July 27th Budget and Finance meeting, we talked about this piece of legislation and making sure that we had just dotted our I's and crossed our T's. I can tell you that the same players that were at the table and pushing this legislation through were at the table this year. And I asked them about the process, but I am going to double check. I honestly just not have, this is the one thing that I did not have the ability to follow up on, but we're only on reading 1. Mm-hmm. So I plan
and that's why I wanted to bring it now instead of reading 3.
So we had talked about it on the 27th that I would follow up. I have not had the time to do that. We're 1 week later, and I definitely will. So just to confirm that this is accurate.
Yeah, remember, AI is good for crunching numbers.
And the reason the reason I say that the same players were at the table last year and this year is because they are not flawed in pushing through a process. They know what needs to be done. So I will be honest, I was hinging on that expertise to determine that this document was accurate, but I will just double check with those people just to ensure that we have an accurate account of the list.
Okay, and I'm happy to, Madam President, I'm happy to share the data analysis with you if that would be helpful as a starting point. I don't know if that would be helpful.
You can, that's fine, thank you.
So you're not duplicating efforts if it's already there, you know,
Yep.
so.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Ms. Curitan.
thank you for bringing this up, Ms. Clear, because those very questions you're asking today were the questions I asked last Monday during the Budget and Finance meeting. Ms. Dukestein, do you think that the parties that you're utilizing have changed their process in any way?
No, the parties that we're utilizing help create the process.
Okay.
Bill Knight, who does this,
Madam President.
sorry.
Oh, Mr. Torrey, so we're sending out the letters at the end of the year and?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Clear.
We have a first reading of Resolution 13-2026, a resolution to certify assessments to the county auditor for placement on the tax duplicate. We have a first reading of Resolution 14-2026, a resolution establishing a policy for the placement of community little free pantry boxes on property owned by the city of North College Hill.
Madam President?
Ms. Chichester.
I was going to ask, can we suspend the second and third readings of this?
Do I have a
Madam
second?
President.
Ms. Gaston.
I second.
I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Chichester and a second from Ms. Gaston to suspend second and third readings. Discussion?
Hear the word motion from Ms. Chichester. I thought I did. I'm sorry. I'd like to make the motion to suspend the second and third readings of Resolution 14-2026, a resolution establishing the policy for the placement of community little free pantry boxes on property owned by the city of North College Hill.
Okay. Any discussion?
Madam President?
Ms. Clear.
On page 2, at the bottom, under section 6, there is a blank. The blank of the city of North College Hill shall be responsible for monitoring and maintaining the little free pantries within the city. Is that the We Thrive team initially? Is that what the intent was with that? Because I wasn't involved in these discussions, so we can't just leave it blank.
Right.
If nobody owns the process, it won't get done.
Madam President,
Oh,
we agreed to fill this in here. The parties that are overseeing this currently are Mimi Anderson. They are 2 members of the We Thrive community with the city's support, because there's a lot of financial expenditures that need to happen as a result of this. So I would say Shiva, and I'm fine to fill those in for Jillian's final document, but I think Ms. Shiva Stevens not, Mimi Anderson, and Ms. Donna Brunner.
Madam President?
Ms. Clear.
I would rather not codify someone's names.
Yes.
Can we do titles instead?
Yeah,
Finance
that's
manager,
fine.
a member of the We Thrive team, and a community volunteer.
exactly. Madam President,
Ms. Chichester.
I agree with that. Yes. I was going
Fair.
to say the same thing.
I just was identifying the people that we had already spoke to about it.
Okay.
Oh, Madam President,
Ms. Chichester.
Ms. Clear, would you say a community member of We Thrive, or is it, I forget the official title, is it community liaison? That,
Madam President?
Ms. Clear.
I don't know if we want to make it that narrow,
okay.
because whoever the council liaison is might have 16 other things going on, and another member of the We Thrive team might be more available.
Madam President,
Ms. Chichester.
I did I say council liaison? I meant
Not
community, the person that is the community liaison with, We Thrive. That person should.
Madam President?
Ms. Clear.
Are you referring to the Hamilton County person?
Madam President.
I was trying,
confused.
I
Yes,
kept
the
forgetting.
neighborhood
navigator.
Curitin.
Is that what you guys are
the
talking about?
navigator.
The
Yes,
the
that
neighborhood
person.
Yes.
I couldn't think of the title, and I didn't want to just say Mr. Curitin, I was trying to look for the title.
We can say, I would think we can say at least one member
Okay.
I don't know if I want to be that narrow again, just because that gives us some flexibility.
Okay.
Madam President, I'm sorry.
Ms. Dukestein.
I know that Ms. Anderson and Ms. Brenner have poured a lot of work into it thus far. So they're the two that have been the point people that have been working on it and emailing back and forth with Ms. Stevens-Dott. So however, we need to discuss those individuals. Mr. Curitan has been inputting and giving in the meetings, and we're kind of deciding together. So I don't think his voice or presence is absent in it when we were talking about it in the meetings.
Okay. So are we going to need a amendment for that to fill in that spot?
No,
Or is that
you
something
just write it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor from Ms. Chichester and a second from Ms. Gaston to suspend second and third readings for Resolution 14-2026. Roll call.
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston.
Yep.
Ms. Alexander.
Yes.
Ms. Curitan.
Yes.
Ms. Clear.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Ms. Chichester.
Yes,
Motion passed 7-0.
Madam President.
Ms. Chichester.
I make a motion that we adopt resolution number 14-2026, a resolution establishing a policy for the placement of community little free pantry boxes on property owned by the city of North College Hill.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston.
I would like to second that motion.
I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Chichester and a second from Ms. Gaston to accept Resolution 14-2026 as amended.
Madam
Roll call.
President.
Discussion.
So
Ms.
we
Zorb.
talked about a lot of different, I ended up hearing 4 titles, but I only heard 3 names. So what are we filling this line in with? What's our final answer?
From my understanding, we were saying we thrive, right?
Madam President?
Clear.
We were going to do the finance manager, at least one member of the We Thrive team, and a community volunteer.
And the neighborhood navigator.
Well, that could be a member of the We Thrive team.
Okay.
I don't know if we,
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston.
Yes.
Ms. Alexander.
Yes.
Ms. Curitan.
Yes.
Ms. Clear.
yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Ms. Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay, now we've moved on to the old business of the evening. I have several bits of old business that I can quickly go through. So we had stated from the committee of the whole meeting that happened in May that we passed the minutes for tonight. There was 3 bits that were taken care of during that meeting, and they were, I will state them together right now. 6.8, attendance at meetings. 7.6, administrative reports and call of members. And then 7.12, guest speakers. Everyone here has had adequate time to review these 3 bits. What I would like to do is hear some motions in regards to how we're going to deal with them to make sure they, either if they're going to up or down, be part of our rules of council.
Madam President?
Ms. Claire.
I had some housekeeping items that I noted when I looked through this. Thank you again for allowing time to review this. So with regard to section 6.8, we've got like multiple concepts kind of all rolled into this first paragraph. I recommend splitting that out, and I also recommend taking the third sentence, a council member unable to attend should be first. Because you got remain present for the whole meeting, unable to attend, and then you have committee, well, you have, it's confusing. It's because it keeps talking about attending a regular, special, or committee meeting as soon as reasonably possible. So that part I think should be first. Or if you're going to be, and it says notify committee chair and vice chair at the same time, why wouldn't we just combine those thoughts into the same sentence.
Ms. Cle-
Notify the presiding officer and the vice chair.
Ms. Clear, this was discussed at length during that meeting.
No, but this is
Are
the
you
first time I'm
stating-
seeing it in writing, is what I'm trying
Right,
to
but
say.
you're wanting it to be rewritten?
No, I want it to be, it's housekeeping. This is exactly what we agreed to. It's just the sentence structure is very confusing. So that's all I'm trying to say.
Okay, so to make it very concise, really quick, what do you want to change?
Council member who is unable to attend a regular, special, or committee meeting, probably of council, shall notify the president of council and the clerk of council. See, I don't know why you would notify the president and the clerk for a committee meeting, or the committee chair and vice chair.
It's combining two together. It is when it's a council meeting, it would be the clerk of council and the president of council. If it is a committee meeting, it would be the chair and vice chair. So that belongs together.
Okay, so we can take committee meeting out of that first part, because you wouldn't notify the president of council if you're not going to be at a committee meeting.
I prefer that staying together because all right.
No, because this is what I'm saying. We met like, what, 2 months ago? It's been a while. Okay, so now we're reading it kind of with fresh eyes, as if, we're reading this, absorbing it as someone who's coming at this fresh. That's all I'm trying to say. It needs to be very clear what we're
A
supposed to
council
do
member
here.
who is unable to attend a regular, special or committee meeting shall notify the president of council and the clerk of council of clerk of council as reasonably possible by telephone, text message, email, or other reasonable means of communication. A council member who is unable to attend a committee meeting shall notify the committee chair and vice chair in the same manner. So where is that confusing? Ms. Clear? What did you want to change? Are you saying you want to take committee meeting out of that first sentence?
Yeah, well, because if somebody's reading this, I'm like, okay, well, I can't go to Ms. Gaston's meeting, so I'm going to tell Ms. Clear.
Okay, so we'll take that out there. So it'll just say regular or special meeting. Okay. Is that it with section 8?
Yeah, I had a note here, but that's...
Okay. What about 7.6?
7.6, Madam President?
Yes, go ahead.
7.6 is currently titled Mayor's Report and Call of Members. Are we changing that to be administrative reports and calls of members?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's a change. I just wanted to clarify that. And then also, Madam President?
Yes, go ahead.
There's a duplicated sentence at the end of that section.
So at the end of which section?
Section 7.6, at the end of page 1, it says, to promote the orderly and efficient conduct of council meetings, each council member's remarks during call of members shall be limited to 5 minutes without interruption from administration or other council members. That exact same sentence is repeated.
Excellent.
To promote, yeah.
Take that out there. Okay, now what about 7.12, Ms. Claire?
I think the very last sentence that says exceptions may be made for emergency or time-sensitive matters. In such cases, the request may be referred to President of Council, who will determine whether an exception is warranted and establish appropriate scheduling. Does this exception only apply to one guest speaker, or does it also apply to the 10 business days rule?
The way I understood it from the meeting is that this is pertaining to the whole thing.
Okay, so I suggest we put that as a separate bullet. Exceptions to rather than rolling, because it reads right now as if it's all part of just the one speaker exception. So I just suggest that we separate that out.
Okay, we'll make that its own entity on the next line with a bullet point in front of it. Is that acceptable?
That's all I could think of because I was just looking at it cold, as if I'm a cold person trying to understand what I'm supposed to do here.
Excellent. So any other corrections off the top of your heads? If not, I'm open to hearing any motions in regarding to these 3 bits. And I'm hoping we can do these separately, just for
Madam President,
Ms. Clear.
for when I put this into it, is it completely replacing, section 6.8? I'm just
Yes.
taking out what we have there and putting it? Perfect, okay.
Do we need to do these individually, Madam
Yes,
President?
we're going to do these individually.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Madam President, I don't know how you're splitting them out, but I'd like to make a motion.
Okay. So are you making a motion in regards to 6.8?
Yes, that's
Okay,
what I'd like to do. I'd like
so
to make a motion that we adopt the changes made to council rules as it pertains to Rule 6.8.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Madam President.
Ms. Zorb made the motion. I apologize, Ms. Gaston, it's late. You were seconding?
Yes.
All right, I have a motion on the floor for Ms. Zorb and a second for Ms. Gaston to accept changes and to accept into the rules of council, 6.8. Discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Zorb?
Yes.
Ms. Gaston?
Yes.
Ms. Alexander? Ms. Curitan?
Yes.
Ms. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Chichester?
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay. Next, do I hear any motions regards to 7.8? Or sorry, I apologize. Again, it's late. 7.6.
Madam President,
Ms. Zorb.
I would like to make a motion that we adopt the changes to our council rules as it pertains to Rule 7.6 and the minutes that we have here.
Okay.
Madam President.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston.
I would like to second Ms. Zorb's motion.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Zorb and a second from Ms. Gaston. Discussion.
Madam
Ms.
President.
Dukestein.
sorry, it was about that. I didn't realize you were where you were at. I
Okay.
apologize.
Ms. Chichester.
Clarification, so we're changing the 7.6 mayor report and call members. What is the changes? I'm sorry, I don't have that draft.
Okay, so number
That
one, we're changing it from just being mayor's report and call of members. It was to administrative report, so it includes everybody on the table, not just the mayor, because it didn't address the city administrator or anyone else. There's also other changes, but you guys have had this for way over a month.
Yes.
But the main change was the title to incorporate everyone at the table instead of just the mayor.
So I heard that wrong when someone else said something about it. I thought we were, when they said changing it, I thought we were taking mayor's report and turning it to administrative. Because I was
No.
That's why I asked for the clarity, because I
No.
heard partial of this.
No, just for
Move
ultra
forward.
clarification, it's just the initial document that was, or part of the
Yes.
rules only said it was the mayor's report, but there's other reports. So that's why I said administrative reports
Makes
to
sense.
encompass everyone. Okay, so I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Zorb and a second from Ms. Gaston. Roll call?
Ms. Zorb?
Yes.
Ms. Gaston?
Yes.
Ms. Alexander?
Yes.
Ms. Curitan?
Yes.
Ms. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Chichester?
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay, and then the last one is 7.12, guest speakers. Do I have a motion?
Madam President,
Ms. Zorb?
I'm on a roll.
All right.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt changes to council rules as it pertains to Section 7.12.
Madam President,
Ms. Clear?
to clarify, this is a new section, it's not an amended section.
No, this is a new section.
I would
'cause
like to
it didn't exist.
alter my motion to say, I would like to add Section 7.12 to council rules.
Thank
Madam
you for that
President.
clarification. Ms. Gaston?
I will second.
I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Zorb and a second from Ms. Gaston to add in 7.12 guest speakers to our rules. Discussion?
Madam President,
Ms. Dukestein?
I have an example of how this may not fit the process that you guys are hoping for, and asking if we were ever to fall in that type of situation, could we get a special consideration? So for example, I will use Metro. They are under consideration for, I think I talked to you guys about this, or maybe it was the Planning Commission or some other space, but we are going to get new bus stops. and new signage, and that had to go through different layers. And so meetings that correlate, like planning commission, they meet once a month. And so if they meet once a month, for example, if they are on the 5th of this month.
Madam President.
And we are in summer session. So that would be feasible to get on the calendar for September. But if we were not in summer session, the natural progression of that next meeting would be less than 10 days. So
Madam President.
with such a significant work undergoing, if we kind of already know about it, can we make some exceptions, or are you just drawing a line in the sand?
Ms. Dukestein, if you remember, the last section of this is saying exceptions can be made for an emergency or time-sensitive matters, but that doesn't mean that every single thing is going to be a time-sensitive matter. But like right now, you know about it. So we can already be moving towards having that on the agenda. This isn't something that needs to wait. So
what I would say, like, for example, that's why I brought this particular circumstance up, because I'm not at liberty to say, hey, this has to go on your agenda. That actually, that recommendation has to happen from Planning Commission, not me, because they have a specific metrics in which they would review it and then send it on. They may or may not do that.
Right, but at some point, Ms. Dukestein, I apologize for not giving your honorific. That's why, like I said, that's why the last thing in here said exceptions can be made for time-sensitive matters. But I'm hoping that this is also something that you can pass down to other departments and other committees that are being held, that this is the expectation.
Yes, acknowledgement that this is the exception to the rule. I'm sorry, I let Mayor have my document, and I did not see that part of it.
No, you're fine. I'm just clarifying.
Thank you.
Okay.
Madam President.
Ms. Clear.
I just have a question for myself so I know how to follow this rule. It says, upon the receipt of the request, the clerk of council will provide the individual organization with the council's expectations. Is that the two sentences that follow? Those are the council's expectations that I need to provide to those individuals, or is there a separate list of expectations that I should be providing?
No, there's going to, it was during that meeting, we had talked about the expectations that were going to be sent to the guest speakers. And actually, Ms. Clear, Councilmember Clear, had said that she was going to work on that. That might have gotten lost in the shuffle with the fact that this has been 2 months. So that is something that we can work on together to, basically what the vision was is that it would be, if it was an email request, it would be an answering email back saying, I'm acknowledging you and here is our expectations. So me and you can work on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I'm sorry, it is so late and I am tired. Where are we? Did we,
Madam President?
Did we make a motion?
Yes.
There was a motion and a second, I believe.
Okay, so
Mayor-
we need to do our call.
Zorb made the motion, Gaston seconded to adopt, to add Rule 7.12.
Roll call?
Ms. Zorb.
Yes.
Ms. Gaston.
Yes.
Miss Alexander.
Yes.
Miss Keratin.
Yes.
Miss Clear.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Miss Chichester.
No.
Motion passed 6-1.
Okay, do we have any other amounts of old business?
Madam President.
I feel like there's another one.
Ms. Gaston?
So I'm going to just give the information and then I will go back. But I just we've been talking about this for a while, getting polos and Oxford shirts. So there's 2 vendors. One vendor for the polo for all 8 of us, it'll be $135.50 plus tax. The long sleeve shirt with our names and the North College Hill logo is $228 and 0 cents. So total, council would be paying $363.50. Okay, there's only one caveat. They don't have all of our sizes. But there was a second vendor that for 8 shirts, polo, very nice quality and all that good stuff, just like the first vendor, total would be $360 for all 8 shirts. They have all of our sizes. And then the Oxford collared shirts were $440 and 0 cents. So overall, including taxes, council would be spending $862.40 for those 2 shirts per council member. So what I would like to do is hopefully get a consensus on if council would like to move forward with the 8 polo shirts totaling $360 and then the 8 Oxford shirts.
Madam President?
Madam President.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, I'm not the president.
Ms. Claire.
Sorry.
Ready to go. Tired.
I'm tired of it.
So to clarify, even though the first quotes were lower, they did not meet the need of what we need in order
Correct.
to order. So so I believe according to Council Rule 12, the procedure is that there is the form and there's the expenditure form for council, and then we would vote on that form with the vendor names, and then whoever's making the request signs off that there's no conflict of interest with the vendors. There's all that stuff that's included on that form. So I think that would be the next step in order to get this approved by council for purchase.
Madam Chair, or Madam President.
Hold on, Ms. Chichester was next.
I was just going to ask, I forgot my question for a second. How long would it take for the cheaper vendor to get the shirts in stock?
That is an excellent question. I did not ask that. And it wasn't that it wasn't in stock. They didn't have it. So they didn't
don't
have
carry
our,
it?
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And they can't get it?
Ms. Dukestein?
Ready to go to
I was
bed.
gonna say, did I hear that right? It's a $500 difference?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty steep.
Wow, we can go to Rose's and get some iron-ons.
I got a cricket.
Miss Gaston, what sizes didn't they carry?
Okay.
I don't think
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you
It's,
said.
it's, I'm not.
Yeah,
don't do
yeah.
No.
I didn't hear you.
No. Because I'm just saying maybe
Oh,
we
I thought
could go a
Latanya
size
was saying,
bigger
I mean,
or
Ms.
size
Chichester was
smaller.
saying something.
Madam President.
All right.
I think
We can't all
this
speak at one
is
time.
in the weeds on this conversation. So
I was just
think-
going to ask if we, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I'm thinking that the next step would be to maybe follow up, and then that's the whole point of that form, is to kind of standardize this process. When council needs to make an expenditure. Now, the issue is budget and finance. Does the council line item have enough money to cover the $800? If so, it's already appropriated. It's in council's budget already, and it's just a matter of approving the expenditure.
So I guess, Madam President, my question is, do we want to do both shirts or one or the other to cut down that cost?
Ms. Gaston, I feel like it's very expensive. It would be up, I mean, I would be open to maybe going to just one of them, like the T-shirt or the polo. You said it's a collared shirt.
Yeah, it's the polo. So I apologize. It's really late. I wanted to bring the numbers, and then what I would like to know is, before I fill out a form, if we want to do both the polo and the Oxford collared shirt for $862, or we want to do one or the other. That's really my ask at this point.
I'm of the impression that I would, if it's that expensive, and I would think that we'd be better to just go with one instead of both.
Okay.
So if you don't mind, maybe coming back with the appropriate forms filled out, and maybe
Madam Chair, Madam President.
and collaborate with the chair of finance to find out if we have enough allocated for council.
Okay.
Ms. Dukesy.
May I make a suggestion that you get the sizes that you can get from one vendor, and then the outlying sizes that they don't cover, maybe just get those from the second vendor?
That's kind of what I was going with. What size?
Just the consistency, Madam President, just the consistency with the material, because they're different. I've seen them both in person.
Madam President. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
So
I would have more to say, but
Can
I've
we-
already spoken twice on the matter.
Yeah, I
Madam
think-
President.
Ms. Curitan.
Thank you. I've not spoken at all on this topic. So, Ms. Gaston, do you have an approximate time frame of when these shirts will be available, regardless of the vendor that we select? Or do you know if vendor A says 6 weeks, vendor B says 6 months?
I would hope not. 1 second. One moment, bear with me, I apologize.
No problem. And along with that question,
So it would, the turnaround time was 2 to 3 weeks.
for both vendors,
For the vendor that had all the sizes.
okay. And then, do we know if these are local pickups or will they have to be shipped in?
This would be a local pickup.
Okay, thank you. So, Madam President, if
Ms.
it's
Curtin.
okay, I think that we should allow Ms. Gaston the opportunity to see how long it would take the vendor who doesn't have, who has the more economical price, how long it would take for them to gather the additional shirts that we need, and then we can go forward from there and discuss it futuristically. I don't think we need to.
Unfortunately, Ms. Gasson said it's not a matter of them getting it in stock. They didn't have them. They didn't carry them.
Did you say that?
I did.
Okay, I must have misunderstood. So then let me clarify my statement again. Thank you for clarifying that for me. So are we just able to go with vendor? Because if you don't have what we need, then your price is not more economically priced.
Correct.
Right. So are we not able to go with vendor B at this point?
The question, Madam President, the
Yes,
question
go ahead.
is, do we want to do both shirts or one shirt? And if we do one shirt, which shirt are we going to go with?
Madam President,
So just to clarify, are we able to go with the most economical price for vendor B at this point? It's $500.
More.
Yeah.
What is the total cost for vendor B? Not 500 more. Is it 2,000?
Vendor B is $862.40, including tax, for 2 shirts per council member, including our clerk. The question that I have is, before I fill out a form, do we want to do one shirt or both shirts? So I'm going to work with our finance chair to see what is in our budget. But I am in agreement with most of the room that $862, even if it's in the budget, is kind of high. So do we do one or the other instead of both? And which one would council rather have?
Madam President, I think at this point we've waited, and not because you've not done it, but we waited almost 8 months for it. And there are some really cool events coming up in the next few weeks or so. There's actually one this week. It would have been nice to have it. And there's another one coming up towards the fall. So I just think it just really makes us look really nice in the community. I believe that it's best if Ms. Zorb is able to look at the cost, but then I don't know why we are let's make a decision. That's my point. Let's make a decision and let's move forward. And if council doesn't like the price, then potentially we are able to negotiate, right? If someone tells me something costs $2,500, I'm going to say, well, are you able to modify? Is there anything on the ink style, the shirt style, or anything that could be modified to lessen the price? But what I want us to do is to make a decision, because we've talked about this for an extensive period of time.
Madam
Ms.
President.
Curtin, real quick, Ms. Clear, I know you've said a couple times, 1 second. We were making a decision because I said, I believe, because she had asked me specifically, I had stated that I think we should, since it's so expensive, we should go with the polo, because then it is something that we can get quickly. We've made a decision. She can fill out the form for the one shirt and get that going. So that's what we were trying to do, was make a decision to make, because like you said, it has been going on all year. So.
I'm sorry, Madam President. I thought their question was, do we have the money? before we make the
No,
decision? Thank
I
you.
asked
Okay.
her to, I didn't ask her to wait for the finance
Got
committee.
it. Thank
I
you
asked
for
her to
clarifying.
collaborate with the finance chair to make sure what our line item states, because that's what was the,
That's
what
correct.
was it?
That's correct.
Madam Chair.
Ms. Clear.
thank you. My suggestion would be, I know we're using polo kind of interchangeably here. If there's a short sleeve option, to do that, because I can always put on a sweater. I can't go short if it's hot and we've got a long sleeve shirt. We're stuck with a long sleeve shirt. So that's my 2 cents on which one should we get, the long sleeve and the short sleeve. My thought would be short sleeve. If that's you said which one, so if there's a short sleeve option, that's my choice.
Ms. Gaston.
Just to summarize, I am going to work with Budget and Finance Chair. I will work with our Finance Manager. And I do acknowledge that there is an event, and I believe our City Administrator, Ms. Dukestein, had some extras. So if anyone's interested in getting a polo, I believe that there are some additional. But I really would like to move on this, because as
Sounds good.
Currington stated. Time.
Yes, it sounds like you have a plan.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So I think that's the extent of old business.
Madam President, I'm sorry, I do have some small inserts. One is I wanted to I did forward council 1819 Dallas's appraisal, and the building is not it's actually not dilapidated at all. So I just wanted to bring that back forward based on the appraisal information. I don't know if you guys want to put that back in committee to talk about that building. It just didn't pan out exactly the way we thought. The floorboards are sound and safe and all the things. So I'm just reminding you guys to think about that. And then we had the queues here this over the weekend, and I just wanted to say I don't want to be remiss in the fact that they actually reached for us to do a community event. So I just wanted to say that just a phenomenal group of individuals, and just to let you all know, I think it would be remiss of us to say, oh, we reached for them, but no, they reached for us to do a community event here, specifically in North College Hill. They could have went anywhere, and they came here. The other last and final thing is, Ms. Currington did ask me for a yes or no answer. I apologize to you all if I seemed to come off curt per the audience and you all, but that is why I said yes. And I just wanted to reiterate that because sometimes in conversation things can be misleading or just forgetting how the conversation went.
Thank you. Okay, new business, and I have one quick bit of new business. I know
Madam
it's
Chair,
late.
I do have one piece of old business that just is very, very quickly. I just want to clarify, is there anyone else or any entity in which you, Ms. Dukestein, would need to require anyone to enter 1500 as of today, August the 3rd?
Yes.
And can you clarify the reasoning behind it and who that is, please?
The quotes to demolition the building, they have to go inside.
Thank you so much, Madam President. Are there any other entities at this time that you believe need to enter 1500 West Galbraith for any other reason outside of getting the quotes to demolish the building?
At this time, I'm not aware, but things pop up all the time. Like once we had a broken window, we are required to fix that.
Thank you.
So there are things that pop up.
And one last question for you.
And I would like to also say the water and the electricity is on. It's not off.
Madam President.
And just one more question for you, Ms. Dukestein. Actually, two. One is, were the windows recently replaced in the building at 1500?
No, the building windows were not recently replaced. The broken one that we were required to replace was replaced. Not all of them.
Only that one, thank you. And then, are there any other, I want to make sure I'm clearly asking this question without any loopholes, because council has oversight for buildings at this time beyond getting the quotes for 1500 for the demolition, beyond maintenance and safety. Do you foresee any other entity, whether it's a city employee, whether it's a friend, whether it's whomever, entering in 1500 for any reason outside of what I've already mentioned?
I'm not able to answer that, but I will tell you that I will keep the safety of those entering the building with the utmost forefront of my decision, and it would not be anything that is not needed to perform day-to-day tasks.
Madam President.
Ms. Gaston.
I'm so sorry. Ms. Currington's old business reminded me of another question. Is there an update from RWB who is going to abate the asbestos at the 1500 West Galbraith building? Is there an update on where we fall on their calendar?
I received an email Tuesday, the 28th, and I met with them on Wednesday, the 29th, And they were promising and committing to get back with us to put us on the calendar. They have not yet done that, but they do know that it is urgent and that we want to work it in as quickly as possible.
Okay, and then I had a follow-up question. I'm not going to assume that I know what you meant, but there was a question about windows being replaced, and you said that only one window was replaced,
I
but
didn't say one window were replaced.
the
I said
broken,
the broken ones were
the broken
replaced,
ones, yes. Did the DAV replace their windows?
No, they replaced the broken ones that were in their room.
Not all of them.
No.
Got it. Thank you. We're on the same page now.
Okay. Gotta try again for new business.
Madam Chair,
Real quick, unless.
Madam President, excuse me, but you're free. Go ahead.
Okay, so my new business is, it has been brought to my attention that Ms. Clear wants to leave City Community Development Committee due to conflict.
Oh, I forgot all about that, yes. Thank you, Madam President. I meant to write a note. I'm sorry, this is like.
That's why I'm
fading.
trying to make sure we get everything.
We all are.
Yes, I would just like to make it official that I am resigning from the CCDR committee. I'm just spread way too thin, and I need to recover some time for other commitments that I have.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston.
I would like to make a motion that we excuse Ms. Clear from the CCDR committee.
Madam President,
Ms. Alexander.
I second.
I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Gaston, a second from Ms. Alexander to excuse Ms. Clear from CCDR, City Community Development or Recreation Committee. Discussion?
Madam President, you're saying the word excuse, and I'm thinking the word remove.
Yeah, remove.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was using Ms. Gaston's terminology. Would you like to restate?
Madam President, I would like to
Ms.
rescind
Gaston.
my first motion and make a motion to remove Ms. Clear from CCDR effective immediately.
Madam President,
Ms. Alexander.
I second that
Okay.
removal.
Okay, so I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Gaston, a second from Ms. Alexander to remove Ms. Clear from now I'm just making up something. CCDR effective immediately. Roll call.
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Miss Gaston,
Yes.
Miss Alexander,
Yes.
Miss Curitan,
Yes.
Miss Clear,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Miss Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
While we're talking about committees, would anyone like to join in on a committee?
Madam President,
Ms. Sorb?
I believe, and I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, but I believe Ms. Alexander is short a committee assignment. And I believe now Ms. Clear is, you're still on too?
I'll get back
Sorry,
with
I'm not
y'all
going to
next
call you
month.
out.
I'll get back with y'all
Ms.
next
Alexander,
Madam President,
feel
to
free to get back
confirm,
to us and
I am
invite
on
us.
2, and now they're on the same night, which helps tremendously.
Okay,
I'll get back with y'all next month.
no problem. Okay. All right, anyone else have new business? Ms.
Thank you.
Curitan?
Really quickly, Madam President, I just want to clarify with Ms. Dukestein. Ms. Dukestein? Ms. Dukestein?
I'm sorry.
Ms. Dukestein, can you confirm how many vacancies that we have in the city right now?
2.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can you be more specific?
I would rather talk about that in executive session, but we have a vacancy for our police chief, and we have a vacancy for our public works director.
Madam President?
Ms. Zorb?
It's my understanding that, and I'm going to flub up the title, but that the police clerk, administrative assistant person resigned also?
But she was backfilled immediately. She gave proper notice, and they were prepared for it, and they backfilled her.
So we already hired somebody. So someone left, and we already hired somebody new.
Yes,
Okay.
at the same rate of pay.
Any other new business or questions?
Madam President,
Ms. Chichester.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Madam President,
Ms. Zorb.
I'll second.
I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Chichester and a second from Ms. Zorb to adjourn for the evening. Roll call.
Ms. Zorb,
Yes,
Ms.
11 o'clock.
Gaston,
Yes.
Miss Alexander, Miss Keratin,
Yes.
Miss Clear,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Miss Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.